Welcome to Dark and Dark and Dark and Dark. Dark things. Yes. Yes.
Peace, folks, and welcome back to another edition of the Proper Thought Series right here on the old TPOT YouTube page. I'm your host, X, of course, but you knew that already. That's why you are here. Tonight, boy, I got a hot one for y'all tonight, boy. I got a good one for y'all tonight. As you can see from the title, we will be talking Black Babies Brutalized with Babatunde Umanah. which I will be bringing in a few moments because Brother Babatunde is already here. But first, as always, I have to thank y'all for your contributions, your generous contributions, because last night I got quite a few donations. I mean, I can't say this enough. And I know y'all get tired of me starting a show like this, but I don't care. I can't say this enough, man. I appreciate y'all, man. I appreciate the brothers. I appreciate the sisters, man, who look out for this platform. You come here, man, you watch these videos, you share these videos, you like these videos, you comment in the comment section, man, and you drop coins on this platform, man, and it overwhelms me, man. It does. It really freaking overwhelms me how much a small platform like mine gets such support from you folks, man. And I appreciate y'all, man, because I say this all the time. You don't have to spend your hard-earned coins on this platform, but you choose to do so, man. You choose to do so. And man, I am grateful. I'm honored. I'm humbled. Y'all support this channel so much, man. And I don't say this just to kiss your butts or to stroke you, because you've been following me a while. That's not what I do. I sincerely mean what I say, and I consider all of you supporters. Okay, whether you drop coins on this platform or not, I consider you all supporters. You show up here every week and watch these damn streams. And I thank you, man, all of you. And I thank you sincerely. But anyway, let's get to it. Tonight, we will be talking Black Babies Brutalized with Brother Babatunde. And let me give you all a disclaimer before I bring in Brother Babatunde. This is going to be rough for some people. Plus, we're going to be talking about your sister. We're going to be talking about your auntie. We're going to be talking about your grandmama. We're going to be talking about your baby mama and probably your old mama. And y'all know what X thinks of these old mamas. So to have X and Babatunde on one stream talking about this shit, if you are thin-skinned, I suggest you turn the channel. If you are sensitive, I suggest you turn the channel. Fair warning. But without further damn delay, let me bring in Brother Babatunde Umanah. What's good, Brother Babatunde?
Hey, what's going on, X? Can you hear me good?
Yeah, man, loud and clear, loud and clear. You know what? Before we even get started, for the people, I'm pretty sure everybody here knows you, but go ahead and let everybody know who you are, what you do, all that.
Yeah, Babatunde. I'm the author of 2 books. The first book is actually called The Institutional Church Beast Infrastructure. That was the first book I released in September 2015. That's on Amazon and all leading bookstores. And then the second book is the one that's basically people more know me for, which is Negro Wars. And that's on Amazon and all leading bookstores as well. So I've been doing that. And then also I'm the editor-in-chief of a blog called slayingevil.com. I mean, so what I do over there is I just basically show black men just the modern day dysfunction of this modern day black female. And I just keep updating articles. I do release an article Monday and Friday. And then Wednesday, I basically have an open mic where people can just come on and just talk about what they want. So yeah, I've been doing that. I've been really talking about Black Women Solid for about 3 years. I mean, I was doing the odd blog here and there on black women and their dysfunction before, but I really buckled down in August of 2016. That's when I really buckled down because I realized that there was a big problem. I mean, and there's a lot of issues that need to be addressed, and that basically no one was covering these issues. Well, black women certainly weren't covering these issues. I mean, and so what do you call it? So I just decided to just bog down and just put my hands in the dirt, man. As like a few commenters on my website say, Babatunde just does all the dirt digging, so we don't have to. He digs in the dirt, so we don't have to, man. So yeah, that's been me.
Yeah, well, the reason why I want to talk. Well, let me give some full disclosure before we even start. Me and Babatunde have had our tussles. Him and I have had our scuffles in the past on this here shit. You know, I because I believe in full disclosure, and we've had our tussles, we had our disagreements, but I've always respected the brother's point of view. I think he's a brilliant writer, and I am a frequent viewer of his website, Slaying Evil, which you can, if you want to go check the Slaying Evil website out. The link is down there in the description box. Also, you can hit Babatunde's YouTube channel up down there, because that link is down there as well. But like I said, you know, we've had our tussles, but I was watching his site a few days ago, man, a few days back, man, and I saw some shit up there that, you know, that I talk about often, because y'all know how I am about these old mamas. And man, I said, you know what? After looking, after reading, after seeing the videos that Babatunde had up there, I said, man, I gotta get in contact with Babatunde, man, and we gotta talk about this shit. Because I often discuss, you know, how bad Black children are treated. I talk about the sexual abuse of Black children. I talk about the trauma, man, that Black children have a tendency to go through because of these old mamas. And it's multi-tiered. And like I said, when I was on Slaying Evil, man, I was like, we got to talk about this shit. We got to talk about this shit. So let me go ahead and start here, Brother Babatunde. Do you believe that the abuse and the trauma and the neglect, the molestation, do you think that this is a Black woman thing, or is it just a woman thing?
That's a good question. To be honest, when you look at other races of women, you've got the problem, but it's not to the same degree as the Black female. The Black female, she's a professional when it comes to abusing children. I mean, and it's common. I mean, I went to a private school, a Black private school in North London, and during my time there, it was frequent for the boys to come in and talk about and show marks on themselves and talk about how their mothers beat them, and they were bragging about, oh, whose mother could beat them the most. You know what I mean? Whose mother was most brutal, whose mother was most vicious in her punishment and all this. So this was commonplace. I mean, this is commonplace. I mean, it doesn't matter where you go. If you're dealing with Black women in Africa, it's the same thing. Dealing with Black women in Jamaica, it's the same thing. Dealing with Black women in the US, the same thing. Here in the UK, it's the same thing. I mean, here in the UK, as I've stated many times before, the dating out ratio for Black men is coming close to 60%. It's about 55% now. I mean, so Black men over here recognize that this Black woman was no good. They grew up with Black women who were no good, just like you said. I mean, it's about your mother, it's about your aunt. I mean, they grew up with these women. So as far as they're concerned, they said, nah, we're out of this. We don't want nothing. We don't want anything to do with this kind of abuse. So what we're going to do is we're going to date out so that the cycle ends. I mean, but yeah, like I said, you get abuse. I mean, you get women who abuse. Well, that's for starters. Women abuse children more than men, but they don't paint that in the mainstream media. They'll make it seem as if, oh, most child abusers are men, but most child abusers are women. I mean, it doesn't help the fact that women almost always have like access to the children, 100% access. So that doesn't help the situation. But most children are abused by women, and Black women especially. So say you'll have like, I don't know, say you'll deal with white women and you say you have like 3 out of 10 or 2 out of 10 who abuse children. With Black women, it's like 8, 9, and 10. I mean, it's like, it's a rarity. You get a Black woman these days who basically loves her children and who looks after them. I mean, who truly cherishes them. The only time basically Black women seem to have some sort of maternal instinct is when it comes down to mixed children. And to be honest, that's what most black women want these days. They want mixed children. They hate black children. They love mixed children. They love white children, any kind of mixture except non-mixed black children. They hate them. They can't stand them. And that goes into, what do you call it? That goes into why black women are just going into these abortion centers and committing abortion at such an astronomical rate. They positively hate black children. But yeah, black women, yeah, they're the chief. They're the worst when it comes to this abuse of children, man, by far. I've just never seen such a disconnect with black women when it comes down to how they raise their children. They don't relate to their children. There's no connection with their children. There's no bond. The children are just used as an instrument to either garner money from the state or to basically use as a weapon against the father. I mean, there's no connection whatsoever, man. I mean, I was on the metro here a while back, maybe about a year or two ago, and there was an Eastern European couple that was sitting in front of me, and you had the mother, the father, and the daughter, and the mother was there. You know what I mean? She's just rubbing the daughter's hair. You know what I mean? And just, you know, like how mothers do. You know what I mean? Okay, well, what's going on? Just examining the daughter. You know what I mean? Making sure she's okay and all that. Just basically being as a loving mother would. And then basically next to me, there's an elderly black woman. And this elderly black woman was looking at this looking at this mother like, well, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? And I was thinking, yeah, I know. Because as far as black women concerned, we got to be hard on these children all the time. There's no room for love. The reason why black women they don't feel like that connection and that emotional, that bond to the child, they feel that's some kind of weakness. I mean, so they don't basically involve themselves in anything. The only time a black woman will properly engage her child is when it's time for physical punishment. Oh, she's properly engaged then, but won't engage the child. The child does something well. The child does well at school. Nah, not interested. I mean, I don't know. The child does well at something else. The child achieves something. Not interested. Anything else that's positive that this child does, I mean, positive results come about as a result. This black woman's not interested. But when it comes down to discipline, oh, she in there like a shot, man. You know what I mean? The eyes light up. You know what I mean? She just all of a sudden just gets on fire, man. You know what I mean? And then she goes into abuse, man. Starts beating this child for 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute. I mean, the first and second strike, that's where basically the message has been put across. Okay, you did this wrong. This is why you're being punished. But when you start going 3, 4, 5, 6, you've lost the message, man. Now the child's thinking, well, hold on a second. Okay, I felt the pain as a result of what I did wrong. But now it's a case of, well, hold on a second. Now why are you beating me? This doesn't make any sense. But again, that's the modern day black female. She has a hatred for herself and she just passes that down to her children, man. So black women by far are the worst when it comes down to this abuse. I've never seen any women that are just so cold and so heartless when it comes down to raising black children, man. Never.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I mean, because most of us, we grew up, and many of us, we dealt with this. We grew up in a household, especially those of us who grew up with just our mother. Because, I believe that kids who grow up without their father probably get beat a lot more.
Right.
Because men, we're not into, beating our kids like that. And
right.
we won't allow these hoes to beat our kids if we around. So when a woman is raising the kids alone, she's got free reign to do whatever she wants to do to these children.
Right.
She's by herself. There's no one there to criticize it. There's no one there to rein it in. There's no one to say, hey, that's enough. Okay. There's no one there to say that. And, one thing I've discovered after certain amount of years of watching, kids who are being raised by just their mother, these women take out their frustrations on these children because they beat them for any little thing. I mean, it's not like they have to do something really extreme or over the top to get beat down to the ground. I mean, it could be something really, really infinitesimal, and they would beat the bricks off of these children. And we've been taught that shit's right. Like, for this big ass 180-pound human being to beat up on a 2 and 3-year-old child. I looked when I saw those videos. Let me see if I can share. Let me see if I can share these goddamn video. Let me see if I can share this, man, because I need brothers to see this shit. I need them to see what I saw. I need them to see this. Let me see if I can do some things here with the screen. Probably not, because I'm not really all that savvy with the StreamYard shit yet. I'm getting there, but I'm not there yet. Let's see here. Let me see. Of course, this shit's fucking up right now. Get this over here. All right. Let me see if I can. Let's see if I can show you, brothers, what I saw and made me want to talk about this shit. Okay. All right. Can y'all see that? Can y'all see it?
Yeah, that's on the screen. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know why the hell it's blinking. Looks like it's blinking for some reason.
Yeah.
All right, but look at this shit, y'all. Let me show y'all something. Just take a gander, if you will. Just take a gander. Not only is she making the child clean, she literally pulled the child's pants down and beat her. See? And this is on the Slaying Evil website. If you guys want to go check it out for yourself. Like I said, the link is in the description box. Look at that. Are y'all seeing this shit? Now, what would you do if that was your baby?
That woman wouldn't be living if it was me.
Man, I would snatch that bitch Adam's apple out and step on it. Can you imagine one of these hoes doing that to your baby girl, man?
Yeah.
Can you imagine that? And I believe this is the same whore here. You see that? Are y'all seeing this shit? Are y'all seeing this shit? She stepped on that baby's head with a boot. Look. Hitting him with all her might. But we'll get to this one because that one's a little different. I need y'all to see the brutalization and shit. Oh, here's another one. This is another one I want y'all to see. Look at this shit here. She got that child so conditioned that that child cries when she takes off that goddamn wig. Y'all get the gist. We'll get to some of the other stuff later. So y'all get the gist of it, right? So this is the thing. When you see this kind of shit, you can't do nothing but think to yourself, what is wrong with these hoes? What is going on in the mind of these bitches to make them treat a little tiny child, man, so fucking bad? I mean, what's going on in their fucking heads, man? make them treat a child so goddamn bad? What could they possibly be thinking? What could that child have possibly had done, man, to make this whole brutalize them this way? I mean, when I see this kind of stuff, I get mad. Okay, I'm just pissed when I see this kind of shit, man. I'm just pissed. And this shit goes on in households every single fucking day. Every day. And people would have you believe that, this shit is just isolated incidents, just like they'll have you believe the sexual abuse is isolated incidents, like they'll have you believe how ratchet and hoe bag these women are around their children. They will have you believe that all this shit is isolated incidents. And it's not. It's not, man. These children are being brutalized by their old mama, okay? Not only are they being brutalized, they're being sexualized, they're being neglected, they're being starved. Because you trying to tell me that this fucking bitch that would step on a baby's head, you actually think this bitch actually got any Claire Huxtable skills whatsoever? Do you actually think she feeds her children properly? Do you actually think she cleans her children properly? Do you think she actually invests in her children? She goes from stepping on children's heads to when she goes home, she's Claire Huxtable. I doubt it. So let me ask you this, brother Babatunde. You're in the UK, right?
Right.
Do you see this kind of shit over there from black mothers?
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, these black women over here are savage, man. It's exactly the same, because you have to remember that see, you black people in the United States, you're native to the United States. You know what I mean? The majority are native to the United States. Yeah, some blacks were brought over as slaves from Africa, but I believe for the majority part, the majority are native to the United States. But when it comes to Britain, most of us, in fact, all of us, we all came from different countries. Either came from Africa or the Caribbean. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, African women, man, African women is some brutal. I talked about some brutality that African women engage in, especially African women from the West, where I was told an account of a black woman who basically, what do they call it? One of the customs is for them to, what do you call it? They put hot pepper in the child's vagina, in the girl's vagina. They'll take hot pepper, like pepper powder, and put it in the girl's vagina as punishment. I mean, that's just one thing, man. I mean, I came across another video of a black woman. She was actually beating it's either son or daughter with a machete, but she was using the blunt end. You know what I mean? And she was just beating her child. She was naked herself, but just beating the child with this machete, man. I mean, so yeah, it's exactly the same thing over here, because the black folks over here came from Africa or the Caribbean, and obviously they brought their traditions and they brought their what do you call it, their behaviors with them. So it's exactly the same. These black women here are brutal, man. In fact, when you go back to the 1980s, over here, there was what do you call it? We had an episode where you had what were called latchkey kids, where what the black mothers used to do is they used to throw the sons out of the house when they went to work. And so the sons left to roam the street and just basically occupy and try and find something to do. The daughters were allowed to stay in the house, but they'll throw the sons out until the mother got back. That was pretty common. You know what I mean? It was very common here. It's just when it came to around the 90s, that's when the social services, which is like your equivalent, your CPS, well, that's when they started stepping in and say, hey, you can't do this, man. I mean, you just basically putting your sons out on the street. I mean, they basically just roaming. I mean, you're supposed to be looking after them, or if not, I mean, why are you putting them out of the house? So yeah, these black women over here, they're cruel and wicked, man. I mean, it's exactly the same brutality. Yeah, you got black women basically over here. They'll beat their children for the most minor infraction. I mean, you got black women over here. They'll sexually abuse their children. They got no problem with that at all. I mean, you got black women over here. They'll they're not with the biological father, but they're with the boyfriend, and they allow the boyfriend to abuse the child. I mean, so yeah, it's exactly the same over here. There's no difference. What you see happening in the United States is happening in Great Britain. But because obviously the United States is 13% black folks over there. I mean, 13%, you guys make up 13% of the population, but over here we only make up 3%. I mean, so it's not really highlighted. Now, obviously, it's not happening to the same scale, but it's still a problem. You know what I mean, black society is still dysfunctional over here. Believe the single mother rate over here for black women is about 60%. So we're not far behind. I think it's in the United States, I think it's about 77%. You know what I mean, of black children are brought up in single mother households. But over here in the United Kingdom, it's about 60%. I mean, so, and that's kind of close to basically the dated out ratio for black men, because black men said, no, we don't want to deal with these women. We grew up with these women. These women raised us. They brutalized us. I mean, they beat us black and blue from pillar to post. I mean, it's like they showed us no affection, showed us no love, showed us no attention. Now, we don't want that. So that's why a lot of black men have basically decided to, you know what, we're just going to search for love and companionship elsewhere. But yeah, these black women over here are savages, man. And it's the same masculine energy these women carry over here as well. I mean, it's an international problem. This is exactly what I stated in Negro Wars. The problem is international. I mean, so a lot of brothers in the United States, they mistakenly believe that this is just it's just isolated there. No, it's international, man. You go anywhere you go where there's black folks, or anywhere you go there's black women, you're gonna find the same problems, man. I definitely find them over here in the UK, man. It's the same thing.
Me, I believe that these women, and I know this is going to make everybody angry because we're probably talking about your old mama, but I believe, man, that many of these women, man, but probably a lot of them, they are the reason, man, for a lot of the violence inside of black society. I mean, how can they not be? When from the time you can walk, your mama's putting a belt, a shoe, her hand, a stick, a bat, a clothes hanger across your ass. You are being trained to think that violence is how things are solved. Violence is how you assert authority. Violence is how you prove who's the boss. So how can these women be excused at any point in a child's lifetime from being not only a catalyst to the violence, but I would say the inventor of the violent nature of these children? Because I guarantee you, man, if you go to these cities, man, you know, St. Louis, Baltimore, Chicago, Detroit, and anywhere else where the death rate is astronomical on any given week or any given day, I guarantee you got a bunch of single, unmarried hoes with a bunch of babies who beat those babies into damn near unconsciousness. Okay, you going to find that in these places where these dudes have grown up, where these dudes grow up and they're killing each other, dozens by dozens by dozens on the weekend, where they're shooting and they're stabbing and they're fighting. You trying to tell me that these behaviors are not learned? And I don't mean learned from the Xbox or television. This shit is being learned from these goddamn women, man. These women are brutalizing these children. I mean, brutalizing them. I mean, I pulled up a couple videos myself, and I'm going to show some tonight. I mean, I've seen women pick a child up from about 5 feet, bam. I seen another chick step on a kid, kick him. And this little tyke boy, he couldn't have been no more than 2 or 3. Kicked that boy, stepped on his head. I'm like, what the hell is going on with these goddamn women? I don't believe a lot of these women even like their children. I don't think they like their children, man. I don't. I think women, many women, because I know I'm gonna get the old not all shit, but many women, I think the only thing that keeps them from doing this shit to a kid is if the man is readily available or lives in the house or has access to his father. That is the only thing that saves these kids from being brutalized, because they know that the father of this kid would not put up with the shit. But I'll say again, when these women are single, there is no one to stop this brutality. There is no one to stop these kids from getting their head stepped on and beat with switches and thrown to the floor and kicked in the ribs, killed, arms broken, all that kind of shit. There's nothing to stop it. These women don't have any compassion for these children, man. They have no empathy for these children. They don't. And people will tell you that, women are the nurturers and they're the soft side of humanity and all this kind of nonsense. From what I just saw, I beg to differ with that. So let me ask you this, Brother Babatunde. If these women are doing all this shit to these babies, well, let me rephrase the question. Do you believe that am I wrong for thinking that they contribute to a lot of the violence that's produced in these neighborhoods because of the way they brutalize the children?
Oh, most definitely, man. Most definitely. I mean, when you look at black society pre-feminism, pre-1960s, I mean, black people were suffering persecution, especially in the US, right? There was a higher two-parent household rate, was about 85%. You know what I mean? 85% of black folks, had two-parent households, came from two-parent households. What do you call it? There was no violence. And in fact, the violence was coming from outsiders. We never had a violent epidemic of violence before the 1960s and 70s. It didn't exist. But as soon as the government stepped in, offered this black female welfare, so yeah, we got these fatherless home welfare policies. Would you like to partake? Yep. And she basically ate of the fruit. And as soon as the white feminist stepped in and said, hey, yeah, you know what? Your man's oppressing you, even though black men have never been in a position to oppress black women, but black women fell for it anyway. As soon as they received those two, that was it. So they've embarked upon this journey of single motherhood. I'm an independent woman, don't need a man, I can do it all by myself. And the problem is, what happens is these black women, because again, what you said, there's no man to check the emotions. There's got to be a man in place to check these emotions. So when these women try to get out of pocket, say, hey, no, you just curb that back. But because there's no man around, these women just basically, they just feed deeper and deeper into their emotions, man. And so they just begin to become sadistic. Why I call these, that's why black women, black witches, because their evil behavior is religious, it's rich, and it's systematic. They know what they're doing. They love it. They love what they're doing. They just dig in deeper and deeper into decadence, and they love it. But yeah, when it comes down to these black women, they just love beating the children. That's the only time they interact with a child, man. That's the only time, when it's time to basically lay down the hammer, man. And that's a sad situation, because at the end of the day, it's like how many more black children could be like lawyers, doctors, like white collar workers. How many black children have got talent? How many black children to things not normally with? But basically this black, it's just beating the child here, beating the child there, beating the child everywhere. So the talent that's being wasted. A lot of black children grow up. They could be talented in many other fields. So where we have more diversity, and this is another thing that mostly a lot of people don't talk about. The fact is, black women are not diverse. there's no diversity. There's little to no diversity amongst them. I mean, if you look at the 20 presidential election, 96% voted for Hillary Clinton. What does Hillary Clinton stand for? She's an ultra left feminist. She's an ultra feminist, man. I mean, socialist, feminist, communist, call it. But yeah, that's what they're showing you their mindset right there. But yeah, these black women, man, it's like their mindset when it comes to this child, man, it's just something else. There's no connection with the child. As far as they're concerned, okay, I either have the child because I'm using the child as an instrument to garner money from the state, or I use the child as a weapon against or basically I got knocked up by a 12 gauge mic and slim sauce and chunky bruh, so I'm left with this child now that I've got to deal with. I mean, which is their own fault because they should learn sexual discipline. I mean, so yeah, this whole brutalization business, man, it's almost like a business for these women, because again, they think that showing compassion, showing care towards their children, showing giving their children attention. I mean, they think all these things, they think it's a sign of weakness, man. That's how twisted and disjointed the black female's mindset is. So what she does then is this disjointed idea in her head, right? The only way I can interact and show any form of attention towards this child, it's got to be through violence. That's the only way. So yeah, these black women main contributors towards the violent black society, because like you said, when the child is raised around the father, in the majority of circumstances, you don't get all this. The child has more of a balanced mind. So the child basically, if the child was raised by a single mother, where the child would flip out and be emotional when the father's there, I mean, the father will teach the child balance. Nah, you know, let's deal with this logically. You know what I mean, don't jump out of your emotions. I mean, so yeah, these black responsible for violence. I mean, look at the videos you're seeing of black women fighting. Everywhere you look is black women fighting. In fact, these black women, they're so violent now. They're more violent than black men. I mean, they're more violent than the guys that they claim are violent. Everywhere you look is black women fighting. In fact, I saw one video of black women on some sort of housing project. I mean, a whole strew of them just basically, okay, right, we're gonna get this street fight on, and they just got to work. Yeah, they just got to work fighting. That's all they do now. They just fight. They fight for fun, man. You know what I mean? And then they pass this down to their children. If you're beating this child all the time, you know what I mean? How you think he's gonna relate to other people? You know what I mean, he's gonna relate to other people in the same way that his mother related to him. Yeah, these black women, they're the majority, the overwhelming majority responsible for the violence in black society today. There's no doubt about it, man. Because when you look at black pre all this feminism, pre fatherless home welfare policies, it wasn't this violent. It was nowhere near. And I can speak for the UK as well, because when basically black folks started coming over here, the white people here were very hostile, man, very hostile. And basically, so what happened is we stuck together more. You know what I mean? So where we stuck together more, we come here, we stuck together because we came as family. We stuck together as family. We worked together. We were more in. But then as policies began to change, because the government realized, okay, you know, we need to fragment these blacks. We need to fragment them, you see. So again, the UK government looked at the US model, and they introduced the fatherless home welfare policies. You know what I mean, and black women over here began to embrace feminism, and so we're in the same position as the black women over here in the same position as black women in the United States. Black women, man, they're the ones responsible for the violence. Again, you have to look at the evidence. The evidence is little to no violence whatsoever pre-1960s, pre-fatherless home welfare policies, pre-feminism. And now you look at these single mother households, right, with all these black women, and you look at the areas where these single mother households are in high volume. Oh, that's it. It's just they're the most violent places on the freaking planet. So yeah, they're the ones responsible, man. And it's not a case of, oh, well, you can't blame the woman. You can't blame the woman all the time. No, you place the blame at the feet of the people responsible for it. And so when we look at the evidence the evidence points towards black women being responsible for the violence that we see today in Black America, in the Black society in the UK, because it's the same thing over here. Same thing over here. Clubs over here are shutting down because of basically these loose niggas. These basically, as Sidian calls them, the park apes. You know what I mean? There's so many clubs shutting down, man. You know what I mean? Because of these feral hog Negroes basically going about, just basically running amok. I mean, so we got the same problem over here. But where you got these Negroes over in the United States that basically just shooting up the place, over here it's knife. It's the knife crime. Knife crime is big over here, especially in London, like gangs and stabbings and all that business. Big over here. So I mean, so we got the same issues. And when you look at the evidence, what does it link back to? Single mother households, man. Single mother households. The majority of these guys getting stabbed up in the street are black men. And then when you look at where these the guys doing the stabbing and all that, these gangs, same common denominator, raised in single black mother households.
Wow. Yeah, you follow them home, and right behind the door is an old single mama. Yep. And the crazy thing is, it would be one thing if it was just, the beatings with the belts and the sticks and the stepping on the heads and all this kind of nonsense. But it's greater than that. I mean, you have a shit ton of sexual abuse, man. In America alone, they say that somewhere between 60 and 70% of black girls are molested by the time they're 18. 25% of young black boys are molested by the time they're 18. And 73% of the time, 7 out of 10 times, it is someone that is within the child's circle of influence. And we have to pay attention to that, because see, if it's someone within the child's circle of influence, that means more than likely it's someone that the mother has given access to the child. Because see, 80% out of that 73% of the time it's mama's boyfriend. I mean, let's just go to that. It's mama's boyfriend, or it's Uncle Jimmy, or it's somebody who's at grandma's house. So it's not like, and I say this a lot, it's not like these sexual abusers and rapists are just dropping out of the sky, molesting these kids and then going back up. No, these are people that their old mama has basically handed the child to these people. And not only that, these women are so caught up in their own their own disillusionment, that they, most of the time, they deny the shit. They will deny that this shit is going on. And I don't think it's because they're just oblivious to it, because I think I call bullshit on that too, because there's too much of it happening for these damn women to be just oblivious to what's going on. The reason why I think these old women, these old mamas, deny it at such a great rate when they're told by the children that this is happening, they deny it because, see, acknowledging it, Brother Babatunde, will also be acknowledging the fact that, number one, they brought some rapist ass person into the crib. Number two, they would also have to acknowledge that they fucking allowed it, and they have no intention on doing that. No, they have no intention on doing that, because what they will do when it comes to this kind of shit, especially this sexual abuse shit of these babies, they will pretend it's not going on. They will be in denial of it. I talked about this on ODJs this week, how these women 20, 30 years down the road, they will pretend that it never happened. They will accuse these children of lying when they tell them. They will do any and every goddamn thing to not think about the child's welfare or the child's safety, They put that shit on the back burner for their own selfish needs, so they can have a dude at the house. And I'm gonna say something to y'all that's really gonna bother y'all. To be honest, I think that a lot of these women are willing to serve their children up to these creeps just so this dude will stay there. I truly believe that they have no problem with these dudes creeping in their baby room at night because they see that as a goddamn incentive for him to stay there. I believe that, man. Now, am I wrong? Am I wrong, brother Babatunde? Please let me know.
Nah, you're not wrong at all, mate. You're not wrong at all. In fact, see, because the black woman has no connection towards her children, what she'll do in a lot of circumstances, what she'll do is she'll allow the abuse to take place simply for the fact that she doesn't want the child to outshine her. So it's not like basically non-black women where they raise their children, they want their children to do better than they did. No, not this black witch. No, she wants, as far as she's concerned, well, this was good enough for me. You don't deserve anything better. That's her mentality. That's how she rolls into stuff. So if it means, and it's not just what do you call it? It's not just little cheesy from the block who's abusing these children. These women are giving up their children to these local church pastors as well. I talked about that I think I talked about that in Negro Wars and my Church Beast book. How these black women, they basically give up their children to these pastors. These pastors are abusing these children. So yeah, this is a common thing, man. Black women love sacrificing their children. If it means basically spilling the blood of the child, you know what I mean, in the womb, you know what I mean, or killing the child outside the womb, or basically offering up their child as a sexual sacrifice to some deviant path, or basically Mike, you know what I mean, who she's got, he says he's giving her that good dick, you know what I mean? So that's what she'll do. So that's a given, man. That's a given. I mean, these black women, they have no connection with these children whatsoever. None. So if it means, okay, well, the child getting abused, and in fact, she's happy about it. Black women, they're narcissistic. Most black women are narcissistic. So when it comes to their children being abused, when it comes to negativity that's being against their children, they're narcissistic. As far as they're concerned, they're happy, man. This is great. I mean, they revel in that kind of thing. They revel in this negativity. They revel in this evil. They revel in this, what do you call it, in this dysfunction and degenerate behavior. And anything goes. That's why we got this epidemic of, what do you call it, of black women. I said this on my website. I said, look, I mean, you notice that when black women embark upon a mission, at some point or another, they're always trying to bring in LGBTQ, always trying to bring in homosexuality. They're always trying to bring that in. They're always trying to introduce that in. Well, we already know that black women, they go out of their way to emasculate their boys. They try their best. Because again, as I explained before, the black woman, she works for the state. I mean, the white man is a lord and savior. And so her duty is to ensure that black society remains on its face. That's her job. In doing that, she has to ensure that black men don't accomplish or achieve. So where does she start? She starts with the youth, innit? So she starts to basically she starts to destroy the mind of the youth. So you got these black boys now walking around with like fragmented and destroyed minds. Well, they can't build anything. They can't basically progress. They can't engage in anything productive. I mean, so yeah, that's where she starts, man. And if it means allowing a child to get abused by 12 gauge mic, by Slim Sauce, then she will do it. She'll allow it. That's not a problem whatsoever, man. See, a lot of people don't understand how the mindset of this black woman works. See, I understand the mindset of this black woman. That's why I don't give these black women I don't give them an inch whatsoever. I don't give them an inch, man, because I understand how wicked they are. And that's why I come so hard against them. Because for me, I'm looking at this from a spiritual perspective first. That's the way I look at it. That's why basically I reach out to black men and show them, hey, you know what? This woman's not good for your health. Not in any way, but especially spiritually, she's not good for your health. Because look at how black women just revel in evil. They know their fellow sisters. But I mean, when another member of the hood basically engages this outright decadent and dysfunctional behavior, black women fail to pull her aside and say, hey, you know what, that's unacceptable. No, they co-sign it, man. Co-sign it. This black female's mind is completely, it's defunct. There's no compass in her head whatsoever. So yeah, these black women, yeah, they will offer up their child to Mike. They will offer up their child to, what do you call it, Chunky Bruh. They will offer up their child to Lil Cheesy. Will offer up their child to the local pastor on the block. Anyone who offer up, they'll offer up their child to anyone. There was a case that I came across a while back, a black woman who offered to a child to some pedophile, some white male pedophile. I mean, this was a few years back, maybe about 3 or 4 years, man. Black women, they got no problem in that whatsoever. Again, they got no connection to the children, none whatsoever, man. There's no maternal instincts in these women, man. And that's what not most black men are still going to implant their seed into these women. That's why I say black men now, don't do it, because you're signing a death warrant for your children, man.
Yep, because especially if you're a brother who just gonna plant a seed and bounce, you might as well. You have just gave this woman free license to torture this child, beat the bricks off this child, and have one of her bullshit Negroes that she dragged through the house rape this child. Now, I know it sounds rough. I know, like, oh, X, what the hell are you talking about? It happens every day, y'all. It happens every day. And people don't want to believe that this stuff is so prevalent in black society. We don't want to believe it because, you know, we stay in suspension of disbelief when it comes to black folks doing this crazy shit. You know, we just can't believe it. You know, we just can't believe that this shit happens. And I guarantee you, probably half the goddamn people in this audience live the same shit. We live the same shit because, see, black folks, we keep a lot of secrets, you know. We don't want anyone to know that our mothers beat the bricks off us every other day. We don't want anyone to know that whole jackass boyfriend used to molest us and be in our room at night. No, we don't want anybody to know that. We want everybody to think it's everyone else. It's other people. It's white folks. It's Latinos. It's not black people. No way it could be black people. We're too strong. We're too powerful. We're too all this kind of nonsense. And it's all bullshit. It's bullshit. Like I said a few days ago on ODJ's platform, I said we have to stop keeping the goddamn secrets. The fact that we are so good at keeping this secret, all it does is perpetuate it, because when these women beat these children the way they beat them, they don't feel like it's going to be no consequences. The mental abuse, okay, they don't feel like there's going to be any consequences. Allowing these children to get freaking molested by these freaking dudes that they bring in the house, they don't think it's going to be any consequences. Why? Because we were taught to keep the goddamn secret. Let's keep the secret. It's not happening. If we pretend it's not happening, maybe it'll just go away. It'll just blow the fuck over. I call bullshit on that, man. And you can't tell me that these women don't know about this shit. I'm gonna tell y'all about a story that I had read. I should have freaking got it. Maybe I'll pull it up and show it to y'all. There was a woman, right? I think she couldn't have been any more than 40 years old. And she had 3 daughters. I think one of her daughters were like 15, the other one was like 13, the other one was like 12. She meets this guy, right? And she had only knew the guy like a month, right? And of course, these old hoes will move the dude right on into the house after meeting him. You know, they know him 3 days. God damn it, they want him to move in. So the guy moves into the house. Do you know that fucking dude got every single one of her fucking young daughters pregnant? Every one of them. Now, call me crazy, but you trying to tell me that this man had enough time to fucking impregnate all 3 of your daughters and you were just oblivious to the shit? You didn't see any signs. You didn't wake up in the middle of the night and see him out of the fucking bed. I mean, you didn't notice how your daughters were acting different. I mean, you got 3 of them. One of them should have been showing some signs of something, right? So I don't buy the whole mama ain't aware shit. I just can't do it. Maybe in some instances, I'll give them about that many instances. They may not know what's going on, but I think these bitches, these old mamas, they be knowing exactly what's going on. You know why? Because these fucking women, it happened to them. And you would think the fact that it happened to them, they would be more diligent, but they're not. They're not. They're not diligent. These hoes are complicit. And that's why I say the shit I say about these old fucking mamas, because they don't give a fuck about these kids, man. A lot of these kids aren't nothing but just currency to these fucking women, okay? The only difference is when a man around, they have to at least pretend to love the child. They have to pretend to love the child when there's a man around. But these fucking women don't give a shit about these kids, man. They don't. And as long as you got these single fucking mamas raising these kids, man, black society is always going to have fucked up parts of it, man. It's always going to be a part of black society that's fucked up if the majority of kids are being raised by these black hoes. That's just a fact, man. And I know people going to get mad, be like, oh, X, you shouldn't say that. I don't give a shit, man. It's the truth. And y'all know it. And a lot of people in this goddamn chat room know exactly what I'm talking about because they was fucking molested by the goddamn mama's boyfriend. They was the ones going to school with freaking belt buckle lashes on them and cuts and bruises, and they had to fucking lie to teachers and shit like that. They know it, but we don't want to talk about it, man. We don't. We need to stop keeping the fucking secrets. Well, let me ask you this, Brother Babatunde. Now, I've talked to people about this shit before, right? And what people say is this. They say, well, the reason why, black folks, we are more likely to be beating our children is because, see, we learned it from slavery because, the slave master, used to beat us. And so once we were beaten, we would go into our hut or our shed or whatever the hell, the barn with the mules that we lived in with our kids, and we would go ahead and beat our kids just like, the slave master beat us. Now that's fine if it's fucking 1625, but it's 2019 now. You telling me that these hoes is beating these kids, some of them to death, all right, to death. You're telling me she's doing this because of some fucking trauma from 400 years ago? I do not believe that shit, man. I don't. How about you?
No, it doesn't make any sense because if that was the case, then we would have seen the same. We would have seen the same behavior to people who were closer to slavery, closer to the slave days. But what we see is the complete opposite. We know what I mean. We see intact families. We see mothers who work. You know what I mean? We see the complete opposite, man. So this whole business trying to link it back to slavery is, you'd be very hard pressed to prove it, man. Now, these black women, these black women are evil. They've latched onto this feminism, which is basically throwing off femininity, throwing off hood, throwing off all things female, and they've just embraced all things masculine. Because about it, it's the man who's supposed to be the strongest, the man who's supposed to be aggressive. You know what I mean, it's the man who's supposed to be the brute when required. You know what I mean, and what these black women are permanently now. They're permanent brutes, man. You know what I mean, and they think, okay, right, gotta basically go, and I gotta basically show this child, I run it here. Because most black women, most of these single mothers, they run their household through intimidation, bullying, and violence. I mean, as far as they're concerned, I gotta show this child I'm boss. And the only way they know how to show the child their boss is just basically through violence. You know what I mean, just violence and abuse. But now this to slavery, now it's rubbish because you would have seen this you've seen this in the people who were closer to the slaves, to the slave days, but you don't see it. You see the complete opposite. Now, this is all recent, man. See, a lot of people are trying to link this to slavery, but now this is a recent. And again, you point it back to single mothers, again, being under the authority of the state, and the state doesn't care what single mothers what they do. The state rewards single mother behavior. The state rewards basically black women for being reckless with their wombs. So the state don't care about black women. They're just basically used as a men. So now the state just basically allows them to do what they want. I mean, and then basically there's no man in the house again. So there's no checks and balances in place. I mean, just to basically curb that emotion that women like to basically that they like to dive into. And so yeah, these women basically, nah, man, this is recent, man. This is, you know what I mean, this slavery argument, it don't make any sense. Again, if it's down to slavery, then why don't we see this? Why didn't we see this pre-1960s? Where's all this violence? Where's all this what do you call it? Where's all this what do you call it? Just this hatred towards black children. When you take the time between when slavery ended up until the 1960s, again, we had intact families. You know, you're not gonna get we had more intact families. You're not gonna get that if you've got a situation where mama's just going around just bashing her child's head in all the time. Not gonna get that. So no, I don't believe that's the case. Because again, if this was the case, we would have seen this. We would have seen this right throughout the history, right up until basically 2019. It would have gone right through slavery when slavery ended up until today. But we don't see it. This is all recent, man. I mean, I don't buy into that slavery business, man. Now, these black women, see what they're trying to do is they're trying to offset, and black women advocates, they're trying to offset putting the blame on themselves because they're black women worshippers. But nah, again, it's about putting the blame at the feet of the people responsible. And this black woman is responsible. Most of these black women are mentally ill. They're mentally unstable. Their minds are not. You know what I mean? And that's because they're trying to embrace this religion of feminism that wasn't built for them in the first place. I mean, trying to embrace that. But see, the problem is with black women, the form of feminism that they subscribe to, it's a mutant form. It's not like the form given to them in the 1960s. This is a whole new level. That's why that Gloria Steinem woman, she came out and said, I learned feminism from black women. Because practice is a form of feminism that's far different than what she was given, man. Yeah, these black women are deep into this feminism. You see the manifestations of it where there's no maternal instincts whatsoever. They hate black children, but all of a sudden this maternal instinct comes out when they deal with white children. You know what I mean? They hate black men. They can't stand black men, but they won't come out and just say, you know what, we hate you black men, because they know that basically black men will just leave them if they walk away from them. There's no other group of men who will date them en masse. So you got a few black women who have their hatred for black men. Most black women hate black men, but again, it's only a few who are openly vocal about it. So, I mean, as far as they're concerned, well, we just tolerating black men. That's all. That's how we're viewed. That's how we're viewed to them. They just tolerate us. Well, you have to do. You're the it'll have to do solution. But yeah, this whole slave is rubbish. It's rubbish, man. It don't make no sense, man.
Yeah, because I mean, you know, I know that black folks, you know, because you hear this a lot. You know, I know that black folks, you know, slavery, you know, was a traumatic experience for black folks. But I also think that, you know, I think we give slavery too much credit with, you know, with how we do shit today. I think we give the white power structure too much credit with how we do shit today. And it seems like with many of us, that's the fucking default setting. You know, whenever something that black folks is doing that's just entirely off the ship, we can always fall back on, you know, the white power structure, you know, slavery, white supremacy, and my favorite line, you know, white folks do it too. You know, we can always fall back on that shit. But I think we never really dig into the real reasons for the shit, man. We never really dig into why these fucking women are the way that they are. And I don't buy it's slavery. I just don't buy that shit, man. I don't buy that it's all because of slavery. I don't buy that it's all because you know, white supremacy or Jim Crow or the white power structure. There's more to it than that. When you look at these, when you watch these women beat these children, man, I mean, they beat these children with, I'm talking, I mean, they beat these children with the ferocity of the way they would beat, you know, a wild animal, man, that was like trapped in a house or something. I mean, it's not like it's a a quick pat on the ass or, a quick slap on the hand or no. I mean, they are striking these children with force. I mean, they are striking these children with so much force that they're knocking these children to the ground, man. They saw this hoe. She stepped on this baby's head. She stepped on his head, man. I mean, you cannot tell me that this is some fucking echo effect trickled down from 400 years ago when we were slaves. This is some shit that's going on in that fucking hole's head right here, right now. Ain't got a goddamn thing to do with slavery. And I just don't buy this whole inherited trauma shit. People talk about, oh, well, we inherited this trauma. We're born with it. We're born with this whole, slavery, Jim Crow, white supremacy shit in our minds already. That's bullshit. Because, see, if that were the case, what about the people who don't do it? What about them? They're black. They should have inherited the same trauma and bullshit, right? Unless maybe their ancestors was white folks, because I've heard people say that too. Oh, well, the people who don't do this shit, their ancestors were probably white folks, which is so fucking ridiculous. But Babatunde, let me say this, man. At some point, this shit has to quit. What do you think is going to stop this shit? What's going to stop these kids from being fucking molested? What's going to stop these kids from being fucking traumatized? What's going to stop these kids from being beat, man, like they would beat a dog that just bit them? What stops this shit?
Well, to be honest, the only way this can be stopped is if black men they're seed into this black woman, because we've already established that this black woman does not like black children. So black stop putting their seed into this black woman. That's the only way in the world stop. Or basically, if we have a situation, because woman aligned with the state, if we have a situation where the black woman's relationship with the state is broken off. You know what I mean, so then basically what would happen is they'll be to basically curb this whole using their womb as a weapon. But I think primarily, because obviously there's a use black women as long as it can, but primarily this way the first wave of defense is for black men stop putting their seed in these women, man. Stop impregnating these black women, man. You know what I mean? It's like but I know a lot of black men, it's like they're on this, gotta keep it black. But at what price? You know what I mean? It's not like in the cases. It's not like there aren't other basically melanated women around the world, native women that you can choose from. You know what I mean? This westernized black is a death trap, man. You know what I mean? She's a death trap.
Brother,
and so,
Babatunde,
yo,
did I lose him? The hell's going on?
Can you hear me, bro? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Did I lose him? So I think we were having some technical difficulties.
Can you hear me, bro?
Man.
Can you hear me?
Can y'all hear me?
Can hear you. Can you hear me?
Can y'all hear me? What the hell?
I'm still here, bro.
Oh, okay. Like,
you got me?
Yeah, I hear you. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Okay. Yes. So as I was saying, like the primary way of this is for black men to stop putting their seed in. That's the primary way, man. Again, black women don't like black children, so again, so why are you putting your seed in? If they want these mixed children, okay, well, let me do them a favor. I'll produce a mixed child, but they're not gonna like that anyway because they only like mixed children when the mother's black. If the mother's not black, if the father's black and the mother's non-black, then they don't like that kind of mixed child. But if they're the mother of the mother of the mixed child, then they don't have a problem with it. But yeah, that's the only way. That's the primary way it can be stopped. But the problem is most black men, they've been indoctrinated and programmed. Gotta keep it black. Gotta be a black woman. You know what I mean? And again, it's like, it's like, at what price, at what cost, man? You see this black woman is just heading towards destruction. She don't care about the path of evil that she's on. You already see that basically she don't care about black men. She don't care about you, but you're still clinging on. That's like I said in my book, Negro Wars. Most black men are gonna perish chasing after this same black woman that doesn't like them. Black women have made it clear they don't like men. What are you still hanging on for? And then I was like, a lot what you've got, like, what's her name? Cats like Cynthia G, right? Who want to start talking about, oh, well, you see, she got this jihad black men dating out. She's the one who started this black men's, even though the crystalline charism. I mean, even though she was the one who coined the term, it's specifically towards black women dealing with men. It's not for black men dealing with basically dating out. No, it's specifically for black women dealing with non-black men. But Cynthia G wants to change it around, you see. It's to label black men who date out the swirlers. But nah, that's inaccurate. In seeing that this black woman is doing what she's doing, in seeing that she doesn't like black men, she doesn't like black children, she hates herself. I mean, she doesn't even represent the blackness because she's wearing this stupid weave and wig on her head. I mean, then black women are engaging in skin bleaching. I mean, now they're basically putting all these tattoos on their body like they're auditioning for a Pirates of the Caribbean. I mean, it's just one thing after. Yeah, it's one thing after, man. And then they're overweight. I mean, and then you've got the fact that basically most don't even look attractive anymore because this it's a spirit, and so the spirit's been working on them. I mean, the spirits begin to morph and change them. That's why you got so many these black women who just look masculine now. I mean, so they said, yeah, we want to basically embrace this feminism, and nature said, okay, I'll oblige you. I mean, let me change you into a man. I mean, so that's what's happening now. That's why you got so many the attractive black women have gone the way of the dodo bird. They're a rarity now. You know what I mean? Yeah. And those black men who still hang on, what you find is when you look at their women, they've compromised on something. Those black men who got black women, right? Who see this in this modern time, not 2 years ago, but in this modern time, men, black women, you tend to find when you look at the women, something. Okay, the woman's a fatty. She got a butter's face, man. This looks like a sewage system. All right, or basically, what do you call it? I mean, she got all these tat, or she got the weave in her head, or she's a single. Compromise on something, man. You did again. If you're gonna deal with black women in this day and age, because of the state of black women in such a gutter state, you have to compromise on things, man. And that's what I find that a lot of black men are doing, where they're sticking it out. They're just basically lowering their standards and they're compromising. They're selling themselves short. No, man, not me. I said, okay, you know what? This is not now. My missus is half black and half. You know what I mean, so I still got the melanin because I like the melanin in my missus, and I like the melanin in my women. I mean, that's my first preference. So I say, okay, this black woman is messed up. Okay, what else can I do? All right, let me just get a mix. So that's what I did. You know what I mean? So you have to logically, if you clearly see that this woman is going downhill, you clearly see that this black female is trundling downhill, right? You can, okay. There's so many things stacked against this woman now. She just basically adds herself as a sex machine. That's all that she advertises herself. That's how she relates to. How she draws in black men. You got these black women twerking all over the place. I mean, twerking in the library, twerking in this place, twerking in the supermarket. I mean, I see a video today. I was on Obsidian's panel. You saw the video of this black chick walking butt naked, trying to get into Popeyes. You know what I mean? Advertising Popeyes chicken. I mean, this is them. This is how they're advertising themselves. And you telling me I still got to get with this woman just to keep it back? Nah, man. No, not me. See, I got standards, you see. But unfortunately, a lot of black men don't have standards. They'll waver their standards, man. They'll lower their standards. They'll start compromising, man. And that's what you see in a lot of, man, compromise. But then there's an increasing number of black men who say, nah, you know what? This is not normal behavior. This is dysfunctional behavior. I'm not going to accept this. I'm going to look for love and companionship elsewhere. And so you've got a hell of a lot of black men who are basically, they're just leaving the building. They're walking off. They're saying, no, I'm not going to put my seed into this woman. I mean, because I see this woman is on a path of destruction. I mean, that's stupid as hell. To see somebody's basically on a path that's going to lead to nowhere. You know what I mean? It's a path that's gonna end in disaster and catastrophe, but you still want to be with that person. That's just madness, man. You know what I mean? This is what I'm saying. That's why I call this woman. That's another reason why I call black witches, because the mind job they've done on black men, man, is incredible. They basically, you know what I mean? They know they're on their way down to hell, and basically they still have you following them. The mind job is incredible, man. I don't really praise black women, but I have to take the hat off. I have to take my hat off to them for that. I mean, they know that basically they know that they're off of destruction that's going to end in failure, calamity, disaster. I mean, and yet they still got black men to follow them. We're still, you know, we still got a large amount of black men who are going to follow them down path, man. At some point, you got to say, no, this woman, what she's doing is not good. I'm not going down this road. I'm not gonna basically follow what she's doing. This is clearly gonna end in failure, disaster. You know what I mean? This is dangerous. At some point, you've got to say that. But unfortunately, there are a lot of black men who don't. They're just gonna stick with this black woman no matter what. And unfortunately, they're gonna be victims and they're gonna be casualties result of following her down this path of destruction.
And the crazy thing is that a lot of these brothers, not only are they still banging these hoes, they're reproducing with them, man. They're reproducing they're reproducing and giving and squirting up in these hoes, and these hoes are having these kids, and they're treating the kids like shit. They're beating the shit out of them. They have taken care of them. They letting their old bullshit ass boyfriends rape them and shit like that. I mean, you can see all that coming just from the shit that these women do, man. Like the girl that was on that video today, that Brother Obsidian showed. Do you actually think that bitch is a good mother? All you got to do is look at the shit she's doing. Now she goes from doing all of that shit, but when she go home, she's fucking Claire Huxtable. That's bullshit, man. Now people will tell you, those two things don't go together. Bullshit, man. You cannot tell me that these hoes is up in the trap house, they out twerking in front of Popeyes, they fighting in the street and doing all this kind of bullshit, fucking all kinds of guys. But guess what? When she's home, she's Claire Huxtable. She's fucking June Cleaver. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out. There's no way that transition can be made. You can't tell me that these twerking ass hoes leave from all the shit they doing. They up in the trap house high and fighting and doing all kinds of bullshit. But boy, when they come home, it's the Cosby Show. Okay, they throw that fucking apron on and start baking cookies and sit down and help the kids with their fucking homework. Get the fuck out of here, man. I don't believe it, Brother Babatunde. I just don't. I don't. And people give me shit because I talk about this shit offline with people. And they're like, oh, well, just because she does that doesn't mean she's a bad mother. Bullshit. If she was a good mother, she wouldn't fucking be out there doing it in the first place. She'd be fucking home with her kids.
Exactly.
Wouldn't she? Come on. I know a couple brothers want to come in. I don't know how long I got you, Brother Babatunde, because I know it's late as a motherfucker over there where you at. I don't know how much time, how you looking on time?
Oh, I'm cool, man. I got a nap earlier on, so you know what I mean. I'm awake, man. I'm cool.
Okay. I'm gonna bring a couple of brothers in because I know War wanted to come on, so I'm gonna go ahead and send him the link. War King, I'll go ahead and send him the link. Anybody else want to come on? Just let me know, because like I always say, this is fucking YouTube. Everybody has everybody's fucking email. So if you want to come on, just let me know and I'll send you the link, because more than likely I have your fucking email. Now, people will say, X, Babatunde, y'all just talking about the bad stuff. Y'all are just cherry picking, the bad shit. That's all y'all are doing. Y'all found them fucking videos, somewhere, and the motherfucker's probably 10 years old. And the bullshit that we're gonna get. All right? We're cherry picking. But see, I don't fucking believe that. We're not fucking cherry picking. See, that's the thing. We've been convinced that this shit only happens to 1 out of fucking a million people. 1 out of 5 million people this happens to. Not the 4 million out of fucking 5 million people that I think. Okay. I believe that this shit is so prevalent that it's fucking normal. That's why we don't talk about it, because this is all part of growing up black. This is all part of it. You know, getting your fucking head split open by your mama, getting beat with clothes hangers and braided switches and fucking belt buckles, and you know, her picking you up by the fucking leg and throwing you down the stairs and shit. You know, this shit is normal. This is what we do as black people. This is, you know, this goes along with the whole because you know, we Bible and Jesus freaks. Spare the rod and fucking ruin the child or some bullshit. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
This is what we believe. We believe that this is all part of raising children. But the crazy thing is that we know for a fact that children who are fucking raised with just their old mama alone are abused more. So
Right.
why is it that when there's a father in the home, the kids aren't beaten as much? If this is such a cultural thing, if this is all part of blackness, this isn't part of blackness, man. This is part of fucking baby mama culture. Cause see, that baby mama shit is a culture too, man. This is the baby mama culture. And this is why fucking people don't like to talk about it. Why? Because a lot of us, man, that's what we came from. All we had was old mama. All we had was this old crazy fucking woman who used to beat our fucking brains in and throw scalding hot water on us and put cigarettes out on the top of our fucking head. This is all we had. Because you see these children, man. I mean, you see these kids, man, get beat down to the floor. Little tykes, man. These kids are 3 and 4 and 5. Man, he beat these children down to the floor where these kids can barely walk. And the first fucking thing this child does when he gets up, he reaches. He reaches, man. He reaches for that same crazy ass fucking woman who just got done beating him to the fucking floor and stepping on his goddamn head. He get right up and reach for her. And you trying to tell me that doesn't fuck us up? You trying to tell me that doesn't twist our fucking ideology where we learn to fucking love our fucking abuser? And it's always these hoes, man. If we were to type into the fucking search box right now, children getting beat, I guarantee you 90 fucking % of those videos will be women. What do you think?
Oh yeah, most definitely. And this business about I've had that before where you said where people have come out and accused me of basically you just finding all the negative stuff, just finding all the negatives. Look, don't have to find anything these days, man. Black women are putting this out on social media themselves. This is how they advertise themselves. I mean, at the end of the day, and if this is the case where we're just trying to find the negative stuff, and we're just, I mean, that's all we're searching for is negative stuff. No problem. You set up a platform where you basically advertise the positive stuff for black women. But the problem is no one will do it because they know they run out of material very quick, extremely quick, man. Because black women are not, that's not the way they're portraying themselves. They're portraying themselves as these twerkers, as fighters, as abusers of children. I mean, as killers of children. I mean, they portray themselves. They basically talk about this European standard of beauty, but that's what they're promoting with this weave wearing. This is my whole point. It's like this is how they're portraying themselves. This is how they promote themselves. I don't see any videos where the black women, and then on top of that, where the black women who are basically looking at these dysfunctional monsters and calling them out. There's no one calling them out. No one is calling them out. Very few. I mean, you got black women here and there, but they're a minuscule amount, man. In fact, things have got so bad now that like the minuscule amount of good black women there are, they've had to basically run into hiding, man. They've had to go into exile because there's so many dysfunctional decadents running around the place. You know what I mean? But again, that's in a way that's their fault as well, because when they were the majority, they should have pulled these heifers into line, but they didn't. You know what I mean? And at the same time, you got the case where the government stepped in. The government stepped in, said, yeah, we're gonna replace the man in the house, and black women accepted it. But yeah, no, this is common, man. This is commonplace. Black women twerking, black women beating children. The beating the children, man. That's common practice, man. That's nothing that's just hidden over there in that corner. No, that's common practice. That's how black women relate to the children. You have to understand. I got a whole book, Negro Wars, talking about this how black women beat their children. One whole chapter, man. You know what I mean, so yeah, that's commonplace, man. Black women are nasty with it as well, man. They take the vindictiveness and the evil. You know what I mean? They take it to the next level when the way they relate to their children, man. I've never seen anything like it, man. But now this is commonplace. Black women, they got no compassion towards their children. They got no love towards their children. Those black men who still want to deal with them in this, well, that's on you. If you get bitten, then that's your problem. I mean, as I'm concerned, I'm like, I've got standards, man. If I'm gonna implant my seed into a woman, it's a woman. I'm gonna implant my seed into a woman who has maternal instincts, who basically embraces her femininity, who's basically, you know what I mean, who's gonna appreciate the children that she bears. I mean, I'm not basically putting my seed into a woman that basically hates black children. You're gonna, you know what I mean, you just want to keep it black, but you obviously see that this black woman, she's dysfunctional. But you want to keep it black just for the sake of the fist. I mean, I ain't got no time for that, man. You know what I mean? It's like at some point you got to start using common sense and logic. I mean, yeah, then you go and have children with a witch, and then she treats the children just as we described here. Then you basically your navel gazing. Then you're in sorrow. So I say, well, you can't say you weren't warned, man. See, black men deal with these black women, man. But when you get bitten, don't say you weren't warned. That's all that's all we can say to you. Warn beforehand, man. You know what I mean? You're gonna have to start looking at this from a logical and common sense perspective. But again, it's what you said, X, where they're basically raising a single mother household, they're thinking emotionally and they're not using logic, common sense, or reason. You know what I mean? Not using wisdom. And that's the problem right there. So that's why we still got so many black men that, despite them seeing this black woman in the gutter state that she's in today, they'll still go and get with this woman.
Yeah, because I mean, brothers got to think of it like this, especially brothers who, I'm not talking about you brothers who got 25 baby mamas. Y'all done already fucked up and y'all done doomed those fucking children. Now, I'm talking about the brothers who got this shit together, they don't got kids and all that kind of shit. And they're looking to build something, okay? Chances are, my brothers, you're not going to be able to build anything with the woman who not only doesn't have respect for others, doesn't have respect for you, and most importantly, doesn't have respect for her goddamn self. You're not going to be able to build anything with this kind of woman. And, if you mess around and oops up in this woman, if she's that kind of woman, how do you think she's going to treat your children? How do you think she's going to treat your children? Okay, you mess around and think about, to you brothers out there who got 9 baby mamas. Okay, to you brothers that got 9 baby mamas. Let me tell you what's happening to your children. Okay, she's beating the hell out of them. She might be starving them. Okay, she's half feeding them. Whole jackass boyfriend may be molesting them. Now I know y'all saying to yourself, "Oh, heck, you're crazy." No, I'm not. And that's just it. You know that I'm not. There's no goddamn telling what this woman is allowing to happen to your child. There's no telling what this woman is doing to your child herself. That's a reason why you shouldn't have 8, 9, 10 baby mamas. Because there's no way you can monitor all this shit. If you got 8 baby mamas, at least 6 of them being abused, man. I'm just letting you know. Now, I know you don't want to hear that either, but chances are at least 6 of them are being abused. And I don't mean just whipped. I don't mean just starved. I don't mean just neglected. There's a pretty good chance, especially if she, got a few dicks on rotation, chances are your baby's probably being sexually abused as well. So think about that before you start running up in these damn holes raw. Think about that, man, before you start popping babies into these fucking women, especially if she's a bullshit woman. All right? Because she's a bullshit woman, a woman that you have no intention on freaking being with. You better think really, really carefully about running up in her at all, let alone running up in her raw. Because you fuck around and get this girl pregnant, all right? And you know she's a woman that ain't worth 2 fucking wooden nickels. Guess what? There's a pretty good chance she's gonna make sure that your fucking kid ain't worth 2 nickels either. You gotta know that that's the truth. You have to know that that's the truth. Don't get so disillusioned with, this is how it goes because of slavery and white supremacy and all that kind of bullshit. Yeah. I heard it all before. But the shit that I showed y'all tonight, do that look like white supremacy to you? Just tell me, does it look like white supremacy to you? That's all. We've been joined by brother Warborn. Damn, I can't even see your name, man. I got shit blocked. We've been joined by brother Warborn. What's good, man? What's going on?
That was good, everybody. How's everybody doing tonight?
Hey, I'm doing good, bro.
Glad to hear it.
Just another night on the old TPOT YouTube page,
All right.
So what you got for us, man?
I got a whole lot. If you got a chance to read my emails and the attachments I sent to you.
Yes, I did.
All right. First of all, I'm going to talk about a little bit of everything. If I get cut off, I was absent-minded. I didn't charge my phone like I needed to, so I apologize for that. And I'd be willing to do another day if you would allow me to do so. Anyway, Let me just try to make this as short and sweet as possible. I'm a long-time listener of the Black Manosphere. I've been around since LAR movement first started. I've been around. I don't know if you brothers remember. There was a young brother who used to have a show. His name was President of the Black. He had a good show back in the day. I was around with him. So I've been on here on and off. The bottom line is I just got greenlit for 2 cooking shows. 2, not just 1. I got greenlit for 2. Like you, Brother X, I'm also from New York. I'm born in Harlem, raised in the Bronx. Family from the South, North Carolina. You know how that go. Fayetteville and Chapel Hill. How's everybody can hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
You
good.
All right, so right now, I'm 43 years old. Right now, I'm working on my 2 shows. I'm working on a whole bunch of other things at the same time that y'all gonna be updated on. The show that I'm working on, the cooking show that I'm working on, it's gonna be a little bit different. It's gonna be, a lot of you brothers out there familiar with the rapper Noriega's Drink Champs. It's gonna be that combined with a cooking show. I'm gonna be showing basically the show is gonna be called Club Cotton's Dinner Date. The show is gonna be all of this. Everything you see on the Manosphere, we're gonna be doing. I'm gonna have guests on the show, everything, and it's basically a play on the modern poker game. Everything that Brother X, you and brothers used to do in your generation, showing the modern take on that, and what brothers in my generation and even younger do. I'm gonna have guests. We're gonna be having discussions. It's gonna be a man.
Okay. Let me stop you, brother. Yeah. Let me stop you. Now we talking about children being brutalized tonight. So I'm trying to see where you're going. I'm trying to see where you're going with it.
All right, I'm gonna go into that. Ever since I was about 12 years old, I was one of those kids that was brutalized. In school, I was a great student. I always had good grades. I never had a problem. I was a little nerd. And basically, my mother had a drinking problem. She used to get drunk. She used to beat the hell out of me. I used to get hit with diamond rings, you name it. And I'm not from a single parent household, but I might as well have been because my mom was so crazy that my pops, he just couldn't be around her. He spent a lot of the time out of the house with his friends, whatever. Unfortunately, he also was the product of a single mother household. My father, he was back in the day, I'm pretty sure that you guys in the same generation. He was back in the day where during his time, he also had a pretty amazing life. At one point, and I'm sure you remember this, he was part of the Ringling Brothers, and he was one of the brothers who used to ride on the unicycle and play basketball at the same time. My father was one of them brothers back in his time. There was a point where he was out traveling the world doing that. Being the good son he is, he's sending his mother back money, to help out with the bills and all of that, trying to be a good son. Asking his mother, hey, mama, make me a bank account, save up my money. She robbed him. She took all of his money. He came back home to nothing. She played it off like she didn't do nothing wrong. And it was like, what? Deal with that. Yeah, your money gone, so what? And, the thing is, it's sad because our own women, and this is talking to you, Jasmine Pepper, our own women, as you said, they act like they did nothing wrong. They act like everything is gravy, everything is okay. Now, not too long ago, I spoke to my own mom about what was going on. She played it off, acting like she ain't know what happened. I have two brothers. My two brothers, and I love them to death. One of them passed. My father passed also. I love my two brothers. But the thing was, I was a saint compared to them. Everyone outside the family used to talk about how smart I was, talk about how talented I was. As I said in the chat, I'm doing technology presentations over there out in Brooklyn, the New York Polytechnic. At 23 years old, I'm winning awards for all different types of things. This woman would get drunk and fight me like I was a drug dealer, as if I was out on the street slinging. I wasn't into that kind of thing. I'm not gonna say I ain't never dabble into it, because we all did we all done our dirt. I'm not a perfect dude, but at the same time, I've experienced that, you know. And the worst part about it is that they emasculate you so bad that by the time you're older, when you don't want to deal with them anymore, they look at you like, "What are you talking about? What's wrong with you? What you mean you're not dealing with us anymore?" But on the flip side, and I said to her at one point, I said, how is it that you can understand something like a color purple, completely get it, but not understand where I'm coming from? Why is that? And it just boggles the mind on how they just come, the disassociation. And as I was saying in the chat, how can you marry a woman like that who has, first of all, she has no compassion for her own kids, but then you can't even have compassion for me. But then on the flip side, black women are they are not only they are enabled, but they are, if a black man or if daddy did something to them and they say, well, I hate black men, I can't fuck with them anymore, nobody's allowed to say a word. But on the flip side, black men, we are shamed to the ground if the same thing happens. It could have been some Antoine Fisher type shit where it's complete sexual issues. And Antoine Fisher is still expected to marry a black woman despite, growing up in a household where the girl is sucking his dick when he's 6, playing in his asshole, all kind of things. But we are 100% expected to give total forgiveness. I don't understand it.
Well, unfortunately, brother, the fucking cycle of dysfunction is continuous, and it's continuous with a lot of us. Um, Now you'll have people tell you, you know, that it's like I said earlier, like it's these isolated incidents, and you know, like I was talking to brother Babatunde earlier, you know, we just cherry picking bad shit. But see, that's the problem, because we keep believing that shit. We keep believing that it's just a little bit of us. It's just
Let
a
me
few of us.
let me tell
And
you something.
I don't think
I'm
that's
sorry to
true.
jump in. One day I'm coming home. I'm coming home from work. I'm getting ready to get on the bus. You would have cried if you saw this moment, because I felt like crying. There was a little brother. Brother had to be, kid had to be about 6, 7 years old. As an older brother, I wanted to go and snatch him up and just take him home. His mom, neighborhood hood chick. Little brother looked like how I was. Little. When you can see a little kid and you can tell he's smart. You'd be like, oh, that little kid probably get good grades in school, and they're pretty well spoken. Little brother, like I said, he had to be no more than 6 or 7. His mom is shaming him about defending her out in the street. And I'm looking, and you know how you want to interfere, but you can't. And I'm looking at this little kid, and I'm like, damn, man. If I was his daddy, or I wish I was his dad right now, because I'd go save him from that. She is shaming the hell out of this little boy. Like, oh, I don't know what happened, going on about somebody talking to her a certain way. This boy is 7. What do you expect him to do? What do you expect him to do? Do you expect a little 7-year-old boy to defend you against probably some thug, Pookie or Ray Ray type out in the street? What can that little boy do? He's probably more scared than you are. And I'm sure in his heart of hearts, he probably wants to protect mama. But then afterwards, still not taking the fact that he's a child into account, you go and not only do you berate him, but you berate him in public on the bus to where he has everybody staring at him because they looking at you, yelling at this little boy, probably not even listening to what you telling him, and more than likely, because you making a scene, making him look like the bad guy. What little boy deserves that? And I remember, another YouTuber one time talking about emotional abuse. And I'm so sorry, sisters. I love y'all. As Brother X said on ODJ, there's a lot of us, unfortunately, society and the way things work, we're not allowed to hate you, but we want to hate you sometimes because of the ways that you treat us. And it puzzles the mind that you guys cannot understand. And I'm saying guys, because so many of y'all act so damn masculine, you might as well be a fucking man. It's a shame that you guys, it's like you can't even fathom the fact that, what, our brother will get to the point where he say, what, I think I'm going to pass from y'all for a little while. There's a group on YouTube, group of women called the Women of Maccabees. I'm a Hebrew Israelite brother. Not fully, but I say about 95%. Those women are probably the most righteous women that I've ever seen. But the thing I got to say is, everybody's human. So everybody's due for a relapse. There's going to be a moment where maybe the stress is just too much. And, as with anybody, that inner, excuse my language, nigga is going to come out for a moment. I'm at the point where I can't even deal with sisters like that who are doing everything right, who have a human moment and relapse, because I'm so used to dealing with the nonsense that I'm done. Like I've told the Most High that I'm sorry, Father, I can't do it with them this lifetime. Next lifetime and the 2-3 lifetimes after that, I will be more, when you put them back at their prominence, I will be more than happy to be the husband of a black woman. This lifetime, I'm sorry, y'all can't have me. You can't have me this lifetime because I have a very long temper. My temper level is so broken that the next one I run into, even if you have a situation where you just have that human moment, I'm not going to be able to deal with it. I'm sorry. You can call me whatever name you want, shame me, whatever you want. I'm choosing happiness over any of you. I'm sorry. Save yourself, black man. That's why SBN.
Well, let me ask you, brothers, this. Now, I'm a true believer that you learn how to be an adult while you're a child. I mean, when else can you learn it? And if you have your old mama and your 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 brothers and sisters, and she's beating the crap out of you, she's leaving you home by yourself, she's doing all this kind of bullshit to you. I mean, what do we expect? It's crazy because we see all this stuff in the street, right? We see the crime and the killing and all this kind of bullshit. I mean, what do we expect when we have these kids being traumatized? What do we expect when we see these kids being beat, like rabid dogs and shit? What do we expect when a child lives in a house where he's constantly being molested and shit? Like, what do we expect these children to develop into? They're not going to develop into scientists or doctors or astronauts or quantum physicists when they're growing up with this old mama. She beating the shit out of them. She half feeding them. She letting them be raped and shit like that. What the hell do we expect? What do we expect to come from these children when they coming up in an environment like that? Now, you'll have people who'll say, well, I know somebody, they went through this and look at them now. We got to stop doing that shit too, talking about we know somebody. I'm not impressed because you know somebody. There's like 40 million of us. One person who went through this shit and they grew up to be an astronaut. Good for you. Name me 30. Name me 50. Name me 100. You can't fucking do it, can you? So we got to stop using these one-offs all the time because we love using one-offs. Because we love using one. Oh, I know somebody who was raised by a baby mama and now they're a pilot. They build rockets. Name me 10 more. Name me 30 more. Name me 40 more. I bet you I could name you about 50 fucking people who was raised by baby mamas that didn't turn out to be shit. They in the penitentiary. They dead. That kind of shit. So the whole one-offs, stop doing the one-off shit, man. Stop it. This shit's a fucking epidemic, man. It's an epidemic just like baby mamaism is a fucking epidemic. But no one wants to talk. No one wants to call it that. No one wants to call it the fucking epidemic that it is. Because this baby mama shit has led to so much other shit. And it's not just because they're a fucking single mother. It's the fact that they're a single mother and how they raise the fucking kid. Because if these women were invested in these kids' education, invested in these kids' development, not beating them for every little fucking thing that they do, keeping these fucking Negroes that they fucking away from the kids. If they were doing all of this shit, guess what? We probably wouldn't have these kind of problems. We wouldn't have the problems if these bitches was, instead of twerking at fucking Popeyes, they were sitting down helping the kid with their homework. Instead of fucking twerking at Popeyes, they'd be at the fucking school, at the parent-teacher meeting. That kind of shit. These are the things that make it what it is. It's not even so much that she done slung old pussy and got 5, 6 baby daddies. Because guess what? If she spent time taking care of the children, if she spent time invested in the children, if she spent time instead of shaking her ass somewhere or fucking taking selfies trying to get likes from Negroes on Facebook, if she took all that time, if that time was being invested in these children, development, maybe we wouldn't have such a bad fucking idea, a bad fucking opinion of these baby mamas. Because we would be like, oh shit, these baby mamas, she got 5 kids, but guess what? All her kids they went off to college on scholarships. All her kids grew up to be doctors, lawyers. We could say that shit, but we can't, can we? Can we? And don't give me that bullshit white supremacy bullshit. I'm so sick of hearing that shit. Everything is fucking white supremacy. But I'm tired of hearing that, y'all. White supremacy isn't fucking responsible for everything. And you can't tell me that white supremacy is why these fucking kids are getting beat down into the ground, stabbed, killed. You know how many fucking stories I see, man, of these little children being killed? And I'm talking little tykes, man. 1 year old, 2 years old, 3 years old, 4 years old. You trying to tell me these bitches is killing these kids because of fucking white supremacy? That's what you want me to fucking believe? That this fucking woman who dropped a kid out of her fucking funk box, white supremacy made her kill the kid because of some fucking inherited trauma. Man, get the fuck out of here with that shit. I'm so sick of hearing people tell me that shit. If you want to assign fucking white supremacy to some other shit, go right ahead. But don't be telling me that these fucking women are killing these kids and hurting these kids and fucking abusing these kids, starving these kids, letting these kids get raped, molested because of fucking white supremacy, man. Stop telling me that shit. Stop telling me that. These bitches don't deserve these kids. These bitches ain't got no right raising these babies, man. They don't. And fucking white supremacy ain't got shit to do with it. Don't come up on my platform talking that white supremacy shit. Don't. You want to come up on here? You better be talking about something else than that. I don't want to hear what happened 400 years ago when you got these fucking hoes kicking these babies in their ribs, stepping on their heads. What the fuck does any of that have to do with slavery? What? Please, somebody tell me. Brother Babatunde, tell me, please. What does it have to do with it?
No link whatsoever, man. But I noticed these, it's what do you call it? These these pundits that keep talking about this white supremacy and slavery and all that business. But again, it's like when you look, it's like eugenics is part of this white supremacy that they like to keep talking about, and abortion is part of eugenics. Who basing the most abortions? It's black witch. So again, they don't want to talk about the fact that if you're going to talk about white supremacy, then you need to talk about the main person enforcing white supremacy in black society, which is this black woman. She's the #1 enforcer of white supremacy. As I said in Negro Wars, white supremacists, they've gone to lunch. They downed their tools and they went to lunch. They don't need to do anything anymore. This black woman's doing a slap-up job. You know what I mean? They don't need to do anything. They don't need to lift a finger. This black woman has taken over the role. So if they're going to talk about this white supremacy, again, you got to point to the person who's currently enforcing white supremacy within black society. That's this black woman. You know what I mean? So again, but they don't want to do that, you see, because again, the black woman is the sacred cow of black society. So now we can't basically hold her. We can't hold her to account. We can't basically, we can't put her under the microscope. We're not allowed to examine her. I mean, well, I don't give a toss. I'll examine this black woman. And if she's found to be at fault, then she's going to be at fault. It's the end of the story, you know what I mean? But yeah, they keep what they keep doing which is wicked behavior, pure evil. They keep giving this black woman excuses. So what it's doing is it's giving her more room to continue with the dysfunction, man. Instead of basically saying, you know what, enough is enough. We've got to hold this woman accountable for what she's done. They just keep giving her more excuses, which gives her more room to continue on with her skullduggery, man. And that's some wicked behavior now, where you see this, it's not like, oh, You've given her more room, and she's, you know what, she's starting to change over. She's starting to turn over a new leaf. She recognized that what she's doing is wrong. She's repented, and she's basically changing for the better. No, they're getting worse. The more room you give this black woman, the worse she becomes, man. The worse she becomes, she's not changing for the better, man. Black women are not going to change for the better anytime soon. Like I said, these bros are done. They're done, man. It's a wrap. It's a wrap for this modern day black female, man. And so what's happening now is that she's going down to hell, and she's gonna drag as many people down with her as she can. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, a lot of black men are gonna go down to hell with her because they see her behavior, but they still want to give her room. They still think, oh well, if I just give her a bit more time, she'll change. Nah, this white woman is wicked. She's wicked, man. She's corrupt. Her mindset is unstable. Her mindset is destroyed. The feminism, again, she's not practicing normal feminism. She's practicing a mutant form of feminism, man. I mean, even white women now, they're starting to back off from this feminism. They basically voted for Trump at what, 53, some people say 56%, 55%. They're backing away from it because they know they know basically where they're getting their bread and butter from, man. They're not stupid. So this is the problem, like with these white feminists. What they do is they use black feminists. They use black women to bolster their ranks, but they won't bring black women into the fold. Black women have never been brought into the fold of feminism. Black women are just useful idiots. They're just used to forward the causes of the feminist agenda. I mean, so at the end of the day, and if black women see this, but they're still trying to beg these white feminists for acceptance, just like they're trying to beg white society for acceptance. Now you're not going to get accepted on either front. I mean, so you're going to have to get over it. But no, black women continue. They embrace this feminism because they want to get one over on black men. It's all about getting one over on black men. We've got to basically stay ahead of this black man. You know what I mean? So it's all about competition. Got to stay ahead of this black man. You know what I mean? I'm like, why are you trying to compete with me, man? Why are you trying to compete? And you're basically willing to destroy yourself to do it, man. I mean, again, these bros are done, man. They're finished. At some point, you got to use logic, common sense, and reason. This broad is destroyed. Am I going to follow in her footsteps because I want to keep it black? Am I going to basically go down with the ship because I want to keep it black? At some point, you got to use common sense, man. You got to look at this broad and say, no, I looked at black women 14 years ago. I said, nope, not going down with you. I mean, I see what path of destruction you're on. I'm not following that. I'm not going down that road. I mean, you go down that road by yourself. You know what I mean? If you see, again, it's like the old saying, well, if you see someone jump off a cliff, are you going to do it? Everybody says no, but what's happening with basically a lot of black men? They're following this black woman. They're not even falling off the cliff. They're following her. They're going into the volcano, man. It's going straight into the damn volcano, mate. You know what I mean? So, yeah, at the end of the day, this white supremacy business, if you're gonna appropriate it, then you have to appropriate it correctly. Okay, well, who's enforcing this white supremacy? And look who it is. It's this black woman. It's like I said in Negro Wars. White supremacy has a new face in black society. It's no longer this white dude with the hood on and all this, the KKK and all this business, or these white guys in suits. No, it's this black female. She's the one. And the number one way she's enforcing this white supremacy is through these astronomical abortion numbers, man. That's the number one. They don't want to talk about that. That's your white supremacy right there. Why aren't they talking about that? What's going on? Why are they silent? That is your white supremacy in a nutshell right there. These black women hop, skipping and jumping into abortion clinics, and they're happy to spill the blood of an innocent child. They're happy to kill the child. I featured one video. I wrote one article a while back where of some chick outside an abortion clinic. There was pro-lifers protesting outside this abortion clinic, and obviously you got the pro-choice. And then there was one black chick wearing glasses, you know what I mean? And she just blatantly came out and said it. Oh, I kill my children. I kill my kids, man. That's what she said. So black women are proud of killing these children, man. But this is your queen, though, isn't it? That's your queen. That's, you know what I mean? Oh man, she Mother Earth. Well, where's the nurturing then? If she's Mother Earth, then where's the nurturing spirit? Where's the maternal instinct? Where is it? So I'm saying, man, these bros are done, man. These bros are done. You want to keep talking about this white supremacy. Okay, well, who's enforcing white supremacy within black society? Is this Monday black female? I mean, start talking about these abortion figures, man. I mean, these guys, these black pro-black, black female first proponents, man. They just don't want to talk about the real issues. They want to keep giving this black woman excuse after excuse after excuse because she's viewed as the sacred cow of black society. But I'm not going to give this black woman any excuses, man. I'll put this black woman on the grill, and I'll roast her. I don't give a toss, man. Because I don't worship this black woman, man. I see this black woman for who she is. That's why I stopped dealing with black women. I don't deal with them, man. I stopped dealing with black women almost 15 years ago because I saw what was going on. I said, no, I don't want any part of it. I mean, I use common sense, I use intelligence, I use logic, and I use reason. I said, well, if this woman is going down this path, if I follow this woman down this path, I'm going to end up in the same disaster situation. So I said, don't want any part of it. That means, but again, it's each man to his own. If you're going to follow this black woman down the path she's going, you're going to get bitten. Again, don't say you weren't warned, man. You've been warned, man. All the information has been put out in front of you, especially in this day and age, in 2019. You know what I mean? Internet, what was it? Release to the public in 1994. I mean, so we good number of years now in with this internet, man, and all the information's out there. I mean, so black men don't have no excuse, man. You have no excuse whatsoever. Again, you want to deal with this black woman, then you go ahead. And if you get bitten, you only got yourself to blame.
Yeah, man. I mean, and not only are they jumping in the damn volcano, like you said, Brother Babatunde, a lot of these hoes is jumping in there with all their babies in their arms. They jumping. Not only are they got stupid ass men following them into the damn volcano, shit, they bringing the babies too. Yeah, right. Because see, I believe that a lot of these women, they don't have a problem having an abortion after the kid's already born. You know, he's 1, he's 2, he's 3. I've seen a video of a woman literally hold a baby and stab that baby to death on video and sent that video to the baby's father. I've seen a video of a woman, she was so mad with the dude that she was pregnant, beat her own stomach with a hammer. I've seen a woman take a child and tape the child to the wall with package with like shipping tape. I have seen a woman take a child and literally set fire to his little hands with a lighter, just burning them and shit. I've seen a woman put a plastic bag over a child's head. I've seen a woman take a child and literally throw a child across the goddamn room. I have seen children beat with everything from clothes hangers, extension cords, baseball bats, lamps, wooden chairs. I've seen a child get hit with a 2x4. I mean, I've seen so much of this shit. And I'm talking brutality, man. You know, when you hitting a 3-year-old child, man, with a fucking 2x4, not only should that child be taken away from you, not only should your ass be in jail, but something's fucking wrong with you, man. Something's wrong with you. You beating a fucking kid, man, with a fucking machete. You beating a kid with a fucking a pole. I've seen, when I was a younger guy, I literally used to see somebody that I know get beat with a fucking rod, an iron rod, not wood, not plastic, iron. There was a kid who lived next to us. His punishment was his mother would throw him into scalding hot fucking water, man, in the fucking bathtub.
Damn.
And the crazy thing is, he would come out and, you know, he'd have the blisters and all that shit on him the next day. We thought it was perfectly normal. We were like
Right.
7, 8 years. We thought it was, we didn't think anything was wrong with it. We thought, oh, you got in trouble by your mama the other day, huh? When we probably should have been calling the fucking police. We probably should have been calling someone. And, his mom, old baby mama, he didn't have no father or nothing. So, I mean, she was literally throw this boy in scalding hot water. And he would, of course, go to school and lie like a motherfucker, say, the teapot fell on him, or, he knocked over, the coffee pot or some stupid shit like that. But this is what she used to do, man. This is the fucking brutality that you see. And I didn't realize, man, I did not realize how violent these women were until I started to get older. Because, see, I was raised by my father. So, I didn't live that shit. But I
Right.
had cousins who lived it. I had friends who lived it. I saw it with them. And even me being raised by my old man, I still thought it was normal because that was part of, the black folk shit. I thought it was normal for somebody to be getting beat with a fucking 2x4. I thought it was normal for somebody to be beaten with a fucking clothes hanger or a metal rod. I didn't realize that shit was abnormal, man, until I got to be like in my 20s. And I had kids. I was like, because, my kids ain't getting beat with no fucking rod. My kids ain't getting beat
Right.
with no fucking belt. But let me tell you something. I wouldn't even let my wife beat the fucking kids with no belt. Fuck no. Okay? You
Right.
want to spank him across his ass, bat, 2 times or so, because they done fucked up, that's one thing. But to fucking get a stick or a belt or a clothes hanger and you coming down on them like fucking Thor, man, I will kill you, woman.
Right.
I will kill you if you do that to my babies. That's why it brings me back around to what we've been talking about all night, man. These fucking women do this shit. Why? Because number one, they can. They can.
Right.
They can do this shit to these babies because ain't no men there to protect them. Like I've said many, many times, man. When you got a father in your life, he doesn't just protect you from, the boogeyman underneath the bed, the rapist down the street, or the monster in the closet. He also protects you from your old mama. He
Right.
protects you from her too, because she's not going to be able to throw you in scalding hot water if your daddy's there. She's not going to be able to put cigarettes out on your arm if your daddy's there. She's not going to be able to strangle you and strap you down and beat you with belt buckles and baseball bats and starve you and fucking let somebody rape you. It's not going to happen if your father is around. And these fucking women have taken the fact that there are no men in these children's lives. They brutalize these children purposely for the simple fact that there are no men in these children's lives, and these bitches are happy about it. They're happy about it because, see, there's no men around, so guess what? Whatever they do to the child, they don't have to fucking answer for it, man. They don't have to answer for
Mhm.
any of it. They can do anything to the kid, man. Anything. I mean, anything. These hoes have killed some of these children, man. They've thrown these kids in the lake. They've strangled these children. I seen a story where the fucking woman killed 2 of her children and chopped them up and put them in a freezer.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember that.
That's the kind of shit that goes on. And with black children, man, if you fuck around and make it out of your mama's house and make it to be an adult, you should count your fucking blessings, because if you were the product of an old baby mama, boy, you probably could have been dead. Yeah, you could have ended up dead. You could have ended up stabbed to death, beat to death, thrown off a cliff. ran over by a car. All that shit could have happened to you if you came from a old baby mama. So if you managed to come out of that baby mama shit alive, consider yourself lucky. Cause boy, your ass could have been dead like a motherfucker. And y'all know I'm telling the truth. How many of y'all brothers out there, your mama would beat you so bad that you could barely walk? How many of you brothers out there, your mama did shit to you that you couldn't imagine a mother doing to you? How many of you brothers out there, your mama would put bruises on you so bad that when you went to school, you had to fucking lie? How many of you? How many of you? How many of your damn mamas out there left your ass somewhere to be fucking touched, molested, abused? How many of you? How many of you have went through this shit because your black ass mama was frustrated because she couldn't keep a fucking man around, and you reminded her of that nigga that screwed her in the back of the club, in the back seat of his car, or on the ground some fucking where? You reminded her of him, and she took it out on you, man. She took it out on you, brutalized you, beat you, half-fed you, exposed you to fucking people who you should have never been around, had you places you should have never been, had you doing shit you should have never done, all because she didn't want your ass, man. I'll tell y'all something. Before I go back to Brother Babatunde, do an experiment, okay? That's if your old black ass mama's still alive. She might be dead, so you probably can't do it. But if she's alive, your old mama's still alive, walk to your mama one day. You know, like I told y'all the other day, you go to mom and you say, hey, what's going on, mom? You know, let me chop it up with you. You know, she gonna sit down, you know, because if you my age, you know, your old mama's old. So, you know, she's churchy and she's sanctified now because all the bullshit she did 35 years ago, you know, it's all forgotten because she's in love with Jesus. She's repented and all that kind of bullshit. So she's real churchy now. So when she come up, she can be smiling and going on and, you know, thinking you're going to talk about your life or, you know, you're going to talk about some shit you got going on. You ask mom, you say, hey, mom, why was I born? Ask your mama, why were you born? Ask your mama, were you planned? Ask your mama, did her and your father talk about you before you were born? And you know what you're going to fucking hear? You know what you're going to hear? You know what you're going to hear? That's what you're gonna fucking hear. Crickets. Because she doesn't know why you were born, man. All she knows is she fucked somebody. She probably don't even know who the fuck that is. Why you think she treated you so fucking bad? You stopped her from hoeing. You stopped her from slanging old funky pussy. She couldn't do the shit she wanted to do. And a lot of you, she did continue to do the shit she wanted to do. That's why she left your ass home by yourself. Or left you home with some old Negro that ended up touching on you. That's why she did it. She didn't change her fucking life when you came along, man. You were a fucking inconvenience. You were an inconvenience. A lot of them didn't even change their lives when you came along. They dropped your ass out. 6 months later, right back on another penis. Another one in her damn gut. She studied at the trap house. Half feeding your ass. Beating the fucking bricks off you. Sending you to bed with no motherfucking dinner. Motherfucking niggas she drag home. They up in your room and shit. And you wonder why you turned out so fucked up. It wasn't because of you, man. Fucking because of her. She ruined you. Beat your damn brains out. Wouldn't help you with your fucking homework. Then the next day telling you how you gonna grow up to be a fucking scientist when she beating all the fucking sense out of you. And ain't even trying to hear you when you come home with your goddamn homework. She traumatized you, man. She ruined you. Because you had the worst possible mother you could possibly have. It ain't your fault you crazy. Ain't your fault your ass illiterate. It ain't your fault, man. Now it's your fault now if you're grown and you're still like that. But when you were little and your ass couldn't read, you think your mama didn't know you couldn't read? She knew your ass couldn't read. Mean to tell me you made it all the way to 15 and not be able to read? She knew. She didn't give a shit. You were just there. She didn't want you. You were just oops. Oops, I'm pregnant. Oops, I had you. Oops, I'm going to get a check for your ass. Anything else, I want no parts of it. Yeah, I may throw you some food, a couple times out the week, and maybe buy you a pair of sneakers once a year and maybe a couple pair of pants and a shirt. But that's it. That is it. That's it. Your mother's brutalized you because she didn't really love you at all, man. She didn't love you. That's why she beat you so bad, man. That's why she left you home alone, half fed you, and fucked with your ego, abused you fucking psychologically. If any fucking body else in your life did that to you, would you say that person loved you? She's probably the worst thing that ever fucking happened to you. And I hope when you became an adult, you snapped the fuck out of it. I hope you did. I hope you snapped out of it. Because if that shit still fucking with you today, now it's on you. Ain't on mama no more. It's on you. But y'all know what I told y'all the other day. Got to confront old mama. She broke that bat over your fucking head, man. You got to you got to march on mama and tell her about that shit, man. Tell her you remember. Her old boyfriends raped you. You got to march on old mama, man, and tell her. She used to beat your ass till you bled. You got to march on old mama and tell her, man. You got to do it. You have to do it. So let me ask you, Brother Babatunde, what would be your advice to brothers that are now adults? They're not kids anymore. They're adults. And they went through this shit. They went through the fucking beatings till they bled. They went through fucking being abused by a mama's boyfriend. They went through not goddamn eating and being left home by themselves. What should these brothers do if they still carrying that shit now?
The first thing they have to do is acknowledge that it wasn't their fault. That's the first thing they have to do. Also, what they can do is you have to start being honest with yourself. In fact, I say that's a large part of the healing process is you start being honest with yourself. So you have to acknowledge, yeah, my mother was no good. She was trash. She treated me badly. What she did to me wasn't normal. This is not normal behavior. It wasn't normal behavior at all. She abused me in whatever way, shape, form, or fashion. I mean, this business about not giving me food and all that business, that wasn't normal either. I mean, none of it's normal. So a lot of the therapy comes from starting to be honest. You have to be honest with yourself. Because if you keep lying to yourself, all you're doing is you're just deceiving yourself. There's no kind of what do you call it? There's no kind of reparations that are going to take place within your soul. So you have to start being honest, man. And what also helps is if you get around other like-minded brothers who basically, I mean, who've been through similar stuff, where you can just openly talk about this stuff. This is another reason why I set up my website, where you can come to Slaying Evil and talk about this stuff. We talk about things like this all the time on Slaying Evil, because at the end of the day, you can't talk about this to black women, because black women are they're just gonna deflect, and they're just gonna say, oh, well, I mean, you were just weak, or they're always gonna pull something out the hat where you're the blame. You black men are to blame for everything. So again, you just got to basically, you can just go and talk with other like-minded brothers, man, because there's a few brothers on the website now. They write about, we've got one brother called Michael. He writes about narcissism. He's got his own blog. He writes about the narcissistic woman. So that helps, you know what I mean? Once you, that's another part of the therapy, is understanding. I mean, understanding what took place. See, now, I came to an understanding. I mean, my mother wasn't a complete brute, but again, I've confronted her and I told her, look, you weren't a good mother at all. The times you should have been bonding with me, the times you should have been connecting with me, you just want to work. And the reason for that is because she looked at me and I reminded her of my father. So, I mean, it was a case where, okay, well, I don't want to see your face, so I'm just going to work every hour under the sun and see you as little as possible. So me and my mother didn't really form a bond. We never formed a connection, but she can't seem to understand it now. You know what I mean? But again, your part of the therapy is getting together with like-minded brothers, or talking about these issues, man. And basically getting together with like-minded brothers who also realize, you know what, this wasn't our fault. You know what I mean? See, what do you call it? And then you've got a case where what you've got is other people who may write about other aspects, or who talk about other aspects to this. So you got people who may talk about the sexual abuse aspect, or like the narcissistic aspect in terms of black women, or what do you call it, or the physical abuse, or the emotional abuse. So again, it's a process. And then one of the main ways you heal is to get away from the black women who are basically, who done the damage. If you moved out, that's one of the biggest ways to start the healing process. Get away from these black women, man. You know what I mean? It's like I went on a 3-year career break from work, and I just went traveling for 2 of those 3 years, and that was fantastic. You know what I mean? Just basically, what do you call it? See, this is why I'm an advocate of traveling. You know what I mean? Because it's a stress reliever, and stress is a big killer. You know what I mean? And see, a lot of black men are stressed out. They're walking around with this stress. It may not even be because they're basically dealing with a stressful environment, but the stress is accumulative. That's another thing they don't tell you, man. Stress is accumulative. So where they suffered all the stress as a child, being abused by this woman and all that, they need ways to basically start releasing this stress, man. And so one of the ways is traveling, man, and just going to your own space and just chilling out. Just, I mean, taking things easy. Don't have to worry about work. Don't have to worry about the rat race or anything like that. But yeah, traveling to just a different place where you don't have to, I mean, just for a couple of weeks or a month, or how you can do it. You don't have to worry about, okay, things back home. I mean, so the traveling aspect, hooking up with other like-minded individuals, you know what I mean, who've been through the same thing, and discussing these issues, getting into spaces to discuss these issues where you're not going to be mocked, ridiculed, where you're not going to be laughed to scorn. And then generally just being honest with yourself. Now, a few black men, they feel that they need therapy. Yeah, you can go in for PC and all that if you feel that's necessary. But I guarantee you traveling, I mean, going to different places, getting away from these black women, talking to other brothers who've been through the same thing, and basically being honest with yourself. I guarantee you that will be most of your therapy. That's all the therapy you'll need in the majority of cases, man. But yeah, so that's what I recommend for black men, man. You know what I mean? So just basically start being honest with yourself. That's the first step. And the second step is you basically talk to other brothers, because then you can basically have a rapport, you have an understanding, you know what, this wasn't my fault. And then start traveling as well. Start basically giving yourself a break, because you need to de-stress, man, because all this stress that's built up from this woman beating you, abusing you, and so on and so forth. I mean, you need to de-stress from that because, like I said, stress is accumulative and stress is a killer. I mean, again, people just think of stress as in present term. I mean, they think of it as in the present, but no, stress is accumulative, man. So you gotta decontaminate yourself. That's enough. You gotta decontaminate from the programming that you received at the hands of this black woman. And again, one of the primary ways of doing that is getting away from these black women. So that's why I'm an advocate of traveling, because the traveling helps the black man to decontaminate his mind. You know what I mean? He can start to reflect on things, you know what I mean? Start to think on things, and he can, again, that creates an environment where it's more easier for you to be honest with yourself about what happened to you. But yeah, that's the first thing. The first thing is you have to be honest with yourself, man. You know what I mean? Stop defending this woman. I mean, she was no good. She treated you badly. I mean, she wasn't a mother. Like you said, X, she didn't love you, didn't care about you. She never showed you any love. She never showed you any attention, never showed you any affection. I mean, that's not what mother's supposed to do. That's the first place. Again, once you get over that hurdle and you start being honest about yourself, you start being honest about what happened to you. I mean, and then you can start moving forward and start progressing. I mean, you can start, okay. And then immediately that's when that's when the decontamination process, that's when it starts, is when you start being honest with yourself. Right from there, bang, that's when it starts. And then you can start implementing other things. Like I said, you can start talking to other brothers who've been through the same thing. And then you can, you know what I mean, travel. I mean, just basically go to places where, you know what I mean, you can just unwind and relax. I mean, just de-stress your mind. I mean, start decontaminating your mind from just the years of abuse and the years of indoctrination, the years of programming, the years of training you received at the hand of this black woman. So, you know, those are my recommendations for black men who've been through this kind of thing.
Yeah, and I saw that somebody said in the chat, they said that, you know, she's going to deny it though. Don't worry about that. Of course she's gonna fucking deny it, man. She has fucking amnesia. She has amnesia about fucking beating you with that fucking braided switch. She has fucking amnesia about her fucking boyfriends coming in your room at night. She has amnesia about grabbing you by the arm and throwing you down the fucking steps. She has amnesia about all that shit. So when you do it, you're not doing it for old mama black ass. You're not doing it for her. You're doing it for you, brothers. It's not for her.
Right. Exactly.
The reason why she abused the shit out of you when you were little, that was because of her. She did it because of her then, man. It's not about her anymore. It's not about her. You sit her old black ass down and you say, look here, mama. I remember you putting the fucking cigarettes out on my arm. I remember you leaving us fucking home by ourselves. Now, this is what's going to happen now. She's going to be taken aback. She's going to be indifferent. She's going to be like, oh, I don't remember that. Or she'll be like, oh, you lying. That's what you're going to get. So don't expect her to fucking cop the shit and admit that the shit happened. She can't do that. Especially now, you know, she all holy and churchy and all that shit now. You know, she in church Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. Praise the Lord. She on that shit now. So, of course, it's all buried. She's not going to remember any of this shit, which is another fucking lie. She remembers, but don't expect her to act like she remembers all the shit that, number one, she allowed to happen to you. Number two, the shit she did to you. Number three, the shit that others did to you because they were given access to you by her. She has no fucking intention on fucking copping to remember any of this shit, because if she does that, brothers, that means she would have to cop to allowing it to happen. she would have to fucking acknowledge, man, that she allowed this shit to happen to you. And she has no fucking intention on doing that, brothers. So when you march on old mama, if you got the guts, because I know a lot of y'all, you're scared of your old mama. Yeah, you're scared of old mama. You don't want to march and then ask mama these questions. You scared she might pull her fucking belt out now and go across your head with it, with that buckle. But if you have the guts to confront your old mama and ask her about these things, when you do it, man, you got to do it for you. Has nothing to do with her. You know she gonna fucking lie. She's been lying to you your whole fucking life. You think she's gonna stop now? You think she's gonna stop now? She may haul off with her old 60, 70-year-old ass and try to hit you now. If you start talking about it, acting like you're doing something wrong, talking about the fucking trauma that she allowed to happen to you, the fucking trauma that she inflicted on you. She'll get mad with you like you're fucking doing something wrong. That's what's gonna happen. So when you go in there, man, don't go in there expecting her to cop to it and say, oh yeah, baby, you know, I picked you up when you was like 5 and threw your ass down a flight of steps and you broke your arm and, you know, I told the white folks that you fell outside. She's not gonna say that. She's gonna pretend like the shit never happened. She's gonna pretend like you're making the shit up. She's gonna ask you, why you bringing that up? You know, right after she said she don't remember. See how that works? Why you bringing that up? But you just said you didn't remember, Mom. What do you mean, why am I bringing it up? Because, see, you can catch your mom. Because, you know, Mom still probably has the mind of a hoe. Especially if your mom was old hoe bag, baby mama. You know, she still has the mind of a hoe. It's just now she old. She's too old to hoe. But she still has the mind of a hoe. So she going to think like a hoe and talk like a hoe. So you can catch Mom up in her fucking lies. She's not going to tell you the truth, man, but you know the truth. You don't need her to tell it. You lived it. And you let Mom black ass know that you remember. That is the only way you will be free. I'm telling you, you got to do it, man. You got to do it. And don't fall for that line that, oh, I did the best I could. Bullshit. Because if she did the best she could, man, most of that shit that happened to you when you were a kid would have never fucking happened. You understand? But it's 12 o'clock, and I know it's late over there where Babatunde at. Any final words before we peel out of here, brother Babatunde?
Yeah, just basically, brothers just need to hold their heads up, man. Yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, it's like you can do better for yourselves, man. You can do much better for yourselves, man. You don't have to tolerate this black female, man. You can do much better for yourselves. You don't have to accept the abuse. That's another issue, because black men they just grown up around this dysfunction. This deceited dysfunction, this black women donated them to accept. I mean, at the end of the day, black men now, as grown men, they believe that they have to deal with this dysfunctional black female. And I'm just here to tell you, you don't have to deal with this dysfunction, man. You can walk away from it. There's nothing wrong with walking away. At the end of the day, I mean, it's like the brother who's on earlier, Warborn. I mean, he's saying like he's like apologizing to the Most High, saying, well, you know what, I apologize, I can't deal with these women. But you don't have to apologize to the Most High, because the Most High understands. He's like, okay, go and deal with some other women. Oh, no problem. I see what problem with these women. The Most High ain't stupid. He sees the problem, and he understands. Okay, you basically, I understand you can't deal with them. I see the problems. You know what I mean? So again, it's like brothers need to stop feeling obligated to deal with defective beyond repair goods, man. That's what this black woman is. She's defective beyond repair. She can't be helped. In the majority of circumstances, she cannot be helped. I mean, there's nothing brothers can do. Now, you're going to get a lot of black men who are still going to make a relationship with a black woman work. You know what I mean? But in this day and age, with this modern day black female, forget it. It's just not going to happen. Now, a lot of black men, they're going to learn the hard way. Learn the hard way, man. But at the end of the day, there's nothing wrong with expanding on your options. There's nothing wrong with basically looking for love and companionship elsewhere if you want to look for. I mean, if you want to try out basically like different races of women, I mean, if you want to go elsewhere, there's nothing wrong with that at all. Because at the end of the day, you know what I mean? It's like the group of women that we have, it's just pure sewage, man. This modern day black woman has thrown herself into the sewer, straight sewage, man. You know what I mean? It's on so fronts.
Sewage.
Yeah, sewage, man. This black woman is she's just, I mean, that's like what I said before. I said, look, this modern day black female she's thrown herself so far into the negative. You know what I mean? I mean, at this stage, she's not even borrowing a bar of soap or a loaf of bread, man. That's how bad things have gotten with this woman now. I mean, at the end of the day, so brothers just need to they need to just toughen up and they need to say, you know what? Yeah, again, it's back to the same thing, using common sense and logic, man, and reason. When you see this woman going down the toilet, well, she's already down the toilet, man. She's deep in the toilet bowl. When you see her basically, but she's going even deeper now. You know what I mean? Like I said, she's in the sewage system. And you see that it's common sense to say, you know what, I'm not going down that path because I'll end up in exactly the same position as her. So there's nothing wrong with that. See, what I just say to brothers, man, is you just need to hold your heads up. Those brothers who went through all that abuse and all that, it wasn't your fault. You know what I mean? Just basically just take the steps that I said. I mean, like what brother X said, look, again, you're not basically doing it for them. When you confront your mother, you're not doing it for them, you're doing it for yourself. It's therapy on your side. You know what I mean? You're clearing your memory, you're clearing your mind, you're decontaminating your mind. It's all for you, not for her. So it doesn't matter what response you get from her. I mean, at the end of the day, you're doing it for yourself. So yeah, just basically like what I said, you got to start being honest with yourself, man. Start being honest, man. It was no good, man. She was a piece of trash. I know it's hard for a lot of brothers to admit, but you're just going to have to start being honest. Then you start engaging with other like-minded brothers who've been through the same thing. I mean, go to forums. You can come to Slaying Evil. Talk about this stuff all the time, where you can talk about this stuff without being ridiculed by black women. I mean, there's some black women trying to make some sort of excuse up. They're always trying to make excuses up for their dysfunctional behavior. I mean, and then if you can, I mean, travel, get away. I mean, get away, de-stress yourself, relax. I mean, take things easy, man. I mean, like I said, stress is a killer and it's accumulative. So yeah, it's all about doing those things there. You know what I mean, I'm always glad to reach out to thinking brothers, man. I mean, because at the end of the day, I don't reach out to black women because black women have drawn their line in the sand. They've made it clear they don't like black men, don't like black children. They said they're not going to change. They're strong and independent. They've embraced their mutant form of feminism, and that's the way they're going. I mean, so I'm like, okay, no problem. I understand. I see what you're saying. I see your position. So again, I reach out to thinking black men only, man. I mean, so I'll continue to reach out to black men. I'll continue to put out the blogs. I'll continue to basically put out the articles. I mean, I'll just continue to help brothers, man. I get emails all the time with brothers saying, you know what, you're saving lives out here, man. I appreciate your work. I say, yeah, it's all about you. I'm basically working for you. I mean, I'm not working for this black witch end of the day, because she doesn't want to be saved. That's another issue. These black women don't want to be saved. They're not interested in anything. All they're interested in is carnal and materials. That's all they're interested in. They're not interested in family. They're not interested in building. You know what I mean? All they want you to do as a black man is just bring them money so they can indulge in Jezebel. That's all they want to do, man. They're not interested in anything fruitful, anything constructive. I mean, it's a joke, which is why I don't understand why you still got so many black men trying to build something and then they want to bring this black woman in, or they're trying to build with this black woman. It's a joke, because black women, since when do black women engage something or touch something and something positive comes out of it? Nothing positive has ever come out of black women engaging in it. Nothing. We don't get anything. We don't get anything fruitful and prosperous from black women engaging in something. No, all they do is they just bring out negativity. Black women are just, again, they're the agents of destruction. I just say, just leave them alone, man. At the end of the day, like I said before, you got to use common sense, reason, and logic when you look at this situation. You can't use your emotion, because when you start using your emotion, you're going to get tangled up. No, that's my mama, man. That's my mama. Yeah, your mother was trash. Look at the behaviors, man. I mean, see, this is another thing. You can't look at it from an emotional standpoint. You've got to look at it from a logical standpoint, man. I mean, again, and there's so many black men, they're holding themselves back because they don't want to be honest about what their mother was about, what their mother was like. I mean, what she really stood for. The sooner you do that is the sooner you can be healed, man.
Yeah. I'm just gonna say this before we peel out, brothers. Think about all the things that happened to you when you were a kid, when you were a young boy. Think about the beatings, because we covered a lot tonight. We didn't just talk about, the beatings. We didn't just talk about the abuse. We covered a lot of shit tonight. But think about all the shit that happened to you when you were a kid. Think about all the shit you went without. Think about the horrible, horrid situations that your mother had you in. Think about how your mother treated you. Think about all the days you sat in your fucking room and felt like nobody gave a shit about you. Think about all the times that you just wish you could disappear, that you could fly away, run away. Someone would come and take you away. Think about all the days that you walked out of that fucking house with bruises all over your little body. Think about that stuff. Think about all the shit that happened to you. But I want you to think about it this way. What if that were your father that did all of that to you? What if that was your father who allowed his girlfriend to rape you? What if that was your father who beat you till you bled? What if that was your father who threw you down the fucking stairs? What if that was your father who left you alone for days at a time where you didn't know when he was coming back? What if it was your father putting them fucking cigarettes out of your fucking arm, beating you with them fucking extension cords, locking your ass in the basement, choking you till you damn near passed out? And I want you to think about that. Would you still hold him in the fucking regard that you hold your old mama? We all know the answer, right? Because a lot of us, we got a problem with our old man and he ain't did none of that shit. All he did was fuck our old mama and bounce. That's all he did. He fucked your mama in the club bathroom, behind the club, in his back seat, and bounced. Bust up in and bounced. That's all he did. That's it. And a lot of us, boy, we ain't got a word for him. But old mama brutalized the hell out of us. Old mama starved us. Old mama treated us like we were a fucking animal. She showed us she didn't love us. And see, that's just it. Y'all have heard me say this before. All that shit she was doing to you, she convinced you that that shit was love. Yeah, that was love. Why do you think we're so screwed up and got such a skewed fucking vision of things, man? Mama taught us that her throwing us down the fucking stairs, yeah, that was love. Her beating us with that fucking bat across our back, yeah, that was love. Her starving us, That was love. All of that bullshit that she did to you, she convinced you that it was love. Why you think we so fucked up? Because we think all that shit love. If we don't got that kind of shit around, we ain't loved. We don't know love. But let me be the first to tell you, your black ass mom ain't love you. She didn't. She didn't love you. Look back at all the shit she did to you. Did it look like love? Did it sound like love? Did it feel like love? Of course it didn't. You know why? Because it wasn't. Especially if your old man wasn't around. She didn't love your ass. She just didn't have no choice but to keep you. Black ass probably couldn't afford an abortion. So she had to kiss. Oh, well, I'm going to keep him. You were a fucking inconvenience. That's why she treated you like that. That's why she did the shit to you that she did. You were just a fucking inconvenience, man. That's it. Now I know it sucks to think of old mom that way. But that's what it is. She proved it. She showed you. She didn't give a fuck about you, man. And I know this is hard for some of you brothers to hear, but you have to hear it and you have to understand it. Because I say again, it's the only way you are going to be free. Denying it isn't going to help. It's just not. Face it. Own it. And if you get the opportunity, make old mom face it too. Make her face it. Because her black ass ain't got no intention on owning it. Take the goddamn power back. Stop keeping the secrets. Set yourself free. Break out of that fucking maternal hole that mama has on you. Because all that shit that happened to you when you were all the shit she allowed to happen to you, guess what, man? Brothers, it wasn't your fault. You understand? You understand? It wasn't your fault. She was your old mama. It's a fucking job to protect you, feed you, counsel you, keep them niggas she was fucking away from you. That was her job. She failed at it, man. She failed at it. You didn't fail at anything. You were just a kid. That's it. Wasn't your fault, brother. You were just a kid. When you're a kid, you don't have control over anything. You don't have any control over how you eat, where you sleep, clothes you wear, where you live at, or whether or not you get your ass beat 3 times a week. You don't have any control over any of that. She does. She does. Why do you think things turned out the way they did? But she doesn't have control anymore, man. Because the only way she can have control is if you let her. I say again, set yourself free. Set yourself free, brothers. Because you deserved better than what she gave you. You probably deserved a better mama. And you deserve a better version of yourself. But the only way you're going to find it, if you call it what it is, mama wasn't shit. Mama wasn't shit, man. Now, I'm not telling you not to love her, not care about her anymore, but see her for what the fuck she is. She wasn't no saint. She wasn't none of that. If her ass wasn't old now, she'll still be doing the same shit she was doing 30 years ago. Just that father time done caught up with her. She's religious. She done forgot. Don't you forget. Remember. Because see, if you remember this shit, you'll never have to worry about you doing the same old bullshit that mama did. And you stay away from them old hoes that's like mama too. Because if you fuck around and find one of them hoes that's just like her, especially if you fuck around and squirt a baby up in her, that old hoe will be treating your kid the same way your old mama treated you. And you know we don't want that. You understand? I'm just saying. But anyway, good show tonight. Serious fucking topic. We ain't been fucking around here at TPOT lately, boy. We've been cutting into those fucking wounds. You know? I'm glad everybody came out tonight. I need y'all to get on down there to the Proper Thought series on Facebook. That's Proper Thought, one word, series, the next word on Facebook. That's our main page. That's our community page. Go ahead, like the page, share the page, follow the page. You can even drop old X a line. I'm guaranteed to get back to you within 24 and 168 hours. Also, while you down there on Facebook, go ahead down to the Proper Thought Series fan group page on Facebook. That's the Proper Thought Series fan group page on Facebook. Go ahead, request to be a member. You're guaranteed to get in there quick. Don't come in there with the stupid shit, because my admin is really strict right now. A whole bunch of motherfuckers done got kicked out because they was down there doing stupid shit. So I advise you, if you want to join the group, come in there with your shit right, because if you don't, number one, you ain't going to get in. If you do get in and you start doing stupid shit, you're going to get kicked out. So going down to the Proper Thought Series fan group page, request to be a member. You'll get up in there. Just don't come down there with dumb shit. Also, check me out on WhatsApp and Instagram. That's Proper Thought. Leave out the series on Instagram. Follow us on Instagram. You guarantee to get a follow back. Also, get your black behinds down to Twitter. The Twitter handle is at TPOT Media on Twitter. That's at TPOT Media on Twitter. Go ahead. Follow us on Twitter. Because if you don't, I will haunt your old black ass mama in her dreams for the next 6 months. But anyway, I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. Everybody in the chat, my moderators, and also especially I want to thank you for showing up tonight, watching us, spending some time with us. And I also want to thank my guests of honor, Babatunde Umanah. Look down in the freaking description box. You look down there, not only can you see the link to Babatunde's YouTube channel, also the link to the Slaying Evil website is there as well. I suggest you go to Slaying Evil. Go there, man. There's some good shit on there. I read shit on there all the time. In fact, that's what inspired this show. So I advise you to get on down to Slaying Evil, man. Let me tell you something. He's got some good shit on there, man, because Bob is a really good writer. So get on down there, man. Check it out. Like I said, once again, the links are right down there. Brother Babatunde, man, I appreciate you coming on, man. Good shit tonight, brother. Good shit
I
tonight,
agree, man.
man. I mean,
No.
you know, I know it was a serious topic. I know sometimes we get up here and we do a lot of fuck shit, but this was some serious shit, and I hope some brothers got help with it tonight, man. I do. I hope some brothers got helped out, man, and I appreciate you coming through tonight, brother.
Hey, no problem, man. It was a pleasure, man. You know what I mean? But yeah, sometimes we've got to deal with these topics, man, because at the end of the day, you know what I mean, there are a lot of broken, you know what I mean, a lot of broken black men walking about, man. You know what I mean? They're looking for healing, and they're certainly not getting it from this black woman. So it was a pleasure, bro.
Yeah, we got to do it again, man. Don't let this be the last time you come through, brother. All right?
Nah, man, definitely, bro. Definitely.
I appreciate it, man. So, with that, I will leave you with 3 words. You know, like I always do. Open your mind.
The prophet of thought.
Peace, folks.
Peace out, brother.
Peace.
Prophet of thought. You know. The prophet of thought. Prophet of thought. Open your mind. 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 Open your mind.
Only from TV. Open your minds.